Hello and good morning. Welcome. It's Saturday, 25th of May, 2024. Welcome back to the Sim Shack and me, Sim UK. How you doing, fellow captains? I hope you're well. We've got a mixed bag of information to throw at you this morning. So if you were watching the last stream, you know that I started doing some fishing out here and we hit a few bugs. The game crashed. And then I managed to force one through and sort of hot tail it back to port just about. A couple more crashes there. And I showed you how to sell some fish. Well, I didn't want to do that. That was never the intention. There's a reason why I brought 2 buckets out here, and that was because I wanted to do multiple fishes or multiple lines. So if we look at our inventory, you can see that I have fought against the crashes, and there have been many. And a few extra little bugs that I've discovered that I've passed on to the devs and they're going to fix, or may have even fixed. There's some good news and there's some bad news. The bad news is we've lost one of the long lines. It's disappeared. Although theoretically it says there are 2 here, so I'm not quite sure. There may be one hidden inside another or something like that. But we do have some fish. But I'm going to carry on laying long lines and see where that gets us. But the good news is that we've had a big patch this morning at 3:30 in the morning, no less. So the devs are working very hard on this, guys. And they reckon, I'm going to say 99% of crashes will stop. I think they've found something that was causing all the crashes, and they're hoping that this patch will fix it completely. Now, we're not going to be naive and completely trust that, but we are going to take them on face value and hope that they're correct in their assumption of 99% less crashes. Good morning, Stewie. Thank you very much. Nice hat indeed. Appropriate for the game, no less. So, right, let's just jump in and take a look and see where we are. You can see we've spawned back in this fish habitat. Now, there is a bug when you save and load back into the fish habitat, which I told the devs about yesterday or the day before. Oh, we do have 2 buckets. What am I talking about? We haven't lost one at all. They must have fixed it already. That's a good start. Okay, so we do still have 2 buckets, plus we have all of our fish. But I did have a bug yesterday, or the day before, where when I put this up here, no habitat for fishing reach. Ah, no! They haven't fixed that bug. So basically, we're in the fishing habitat, but the game thinks we're not. Bit frustrating. This is early access. These are the things we have to fight against. No, Stewie, the game has an engineering side, it has a delivery side, and it has a fishing side.
You can save with cargo on board as they had to remove it in latest hotfix.
Good morning, Genocide Jim. You've been having a blast with the game. You realise to your detriment that you can't save with cargo on board as they had to remove it in the latest hotfix. That hasn't been working for quite some time, Genocide Jim. Sadly, that is something that's going to be hopefully fixed by next Tuesday, I think, is the most up-to-date information I have on that. So yeah, by next Tuesday that should be working. There's an awful lot of bugs in the game. Anyone who tells you different is lying. Don't listen to them. But it is very, very early access. I'd say probably very late alpha or early beta, something like that. So there's a lot of... The game is going to change so much over the next 3 months, 6 months. And I still think, you know, this time next year is probably when we'll start feeling like it's a proper full game. What am I going to do with those cod pieces? Well, when you have multiple cod pieces, Stewie, there's a little game I like to play. No, I'm not going to get down that route. It's far too early in the morning for that. Just to let you guys know, I've had the most awful headache for the last couple of weeks. The wife seems to think, excuse me, the wife seems to think that it's my hay fever playing up. And she might well be correct, because I've had a very watery right eye. So I've not been sleeping very well. I woke up at 5 this morning, took some painkillers, and it's eased off a bit. But we'll see how we go. I may sort of suddenly go, oh, my head is killing me, and that's it, and call it short. But the aim for today is to get this fish in, or fill the boat up as much as we can, get the fish in, and just see if we can get the tier 2 boat for fishing. That would be the plan. If not, then do whatever it is we need to do in order to get the tier 2 boat. That's the plan. So what I discovered was, when you're in a fishing habitat, you just need to back out of it or go to another one, which is the same as backing out of it, and then go back in, and it seems to work. So it's like a Boolean value that's not been checked or checked against or checked on or whatever. I don't really know. So if you save, try and save before you go into the fishing habitat is my advice. I'm still going to save regularly because it would be crazy not to, with all the crashes and problems that we've had in recent weeks. Oh, and one of the recent patches as well, they've turned the weather off because too many new people coming to the game were complaining because it was so difficult to park their boat at the dock. I don't know what's wrong with people these days. Don't like a challenge, I guess. They don't like to learn a skill. Who knows? I don't know what the problem was. So this is about the highest the waves are going to get. So it's not going to be quite as much fun as it was. In all honesty, I don't know why I'm reversing. It would be much quicker if I turn around and go forwards. So let's just do that, because I am wasting valuable time. And I believe that the fuel consumption has been fixed. But I've been nursing this headache mostly whilst fighting against bugs and doing bug testing, and I've been in Discord answering questions and trying to help people out and stuff there as well. So I've not really been playing very much over the last couple of days. But the good news is, oh, I know what I need to do. Let's turn the sonar on, because that explodes the fish habitat, and then when they all go back to this shape, I'll know that we're outside of the habitat, and then we can turn around and go back in again. I should try a Beckinase nasal spray. Boy, over the till of the farm, a couple of squirts, good to go. I've actually got quite a lot of those, buddy. I've got a lot of different ones. Ordinarily I start taking hay fever tablets and stuff well before the hay fever season and sort of build up my immunity a little bit, but for some reason I haven't done it this year, and I'm kind of paying the price, I think. I don't know if it is that. I'll be honest with you. I've got a really stiff neck as well. I don't want to bore you with my ailments, but it's either the neck or the hay fever, or a combination of the two. I can definitely feel it in my sinuses, so there's something going on there. But yeah, just feeling a little bit under the weather, but we'll struggle through. We'll struggle through. Puritan is good too. Yeah, I use Puritan in tablet form. I'll tell you what's really good, if anyone out there does suffer from hay fever. I forget the brand now. Stewie probably knows. It's a lot more on the ball than I am. But there's they're kind of like wet wipes, but for hay fever, and you just rub them underneath your eyes. They're really good, very effective. In fact, I think I have some in the cupboard, or in a bag or something. I'm sure I bought some last year. I might go have a look after this stream. Thanks Stewie, you've just made me remember those. They're very effective. I can't tell you what they're called, but As far as I know, there's only one company that makes them, and they're very good. If you suffer with your eyes in the old hay fever season, then they could be a lifesaver. So these little gits. Let's head over this way.
You've not been drinking that manky sewer water that got in the drinking system.
Let's go. Let's go northwest, because it'll get us out of this fishing area a little bit quicker, hopefully. Have I that manky sewer water they got in the drinking system? No, thankfully I'm not in Devon. But that's nasty. If you've done any research on that, you'll know that like 80% of British water has some sort of fecal matter in it. That's the water coming out of your taps, guys. I mean, I'm sure when we privatised all the water systems, we thought it was going to be a good idea because these rich oligarchs or whatever were going to look after us, but apparently no, they don't care if we're drinking poo water. So that's lovely. Again, I'm in a lucky area because we don't suffer from that, but yeah, be warned if you're in the UK what you're drinking. Maybe start boiling your water. It literally is that serious, especially if you're in Devon. Right. So I know for a fact that the number of fish we've got in the boat is probably enough. The net's about 300,000, I'd say. 400 maybe. And for the next boat, I think we need a couple of mil. So it may be a bit of a pain in the bum.
Posh sandbanks have 20 filters for water and a pair of tights.
They've got it all in sandbanks. There's nothing they can't get. Money is no object. You know what would be nice, actually? I was just thinking, this steering wheel it auto-centers, doesn't it? All the time. It might be nicer if it just held position. And also, there's no indication where the center point is. So, like, you know, if you're playing that Pirate Sea game, I can never remember the bloody name of that game. Anyway, you know the one I mean. If you're steering that, you have like one of these prongs or whatever they're called, has like a golden top on it, so you know where the middle is, where the center line is. I think it would be better if we had something like that. Because fighting against these waves is a hell of a lot of fun, but having to constantly tap and adjust like that, it's a bit of a pain in the bum. I know we're going to eventually get autopilot and it will take over. But to be honest with you, I kind of like the sailing. I like the experience of sailing, so it might be better if they just fix this so it's more realistic. Because I'm pretty damn sure that it's only cars that auto-center like that. I don't think I've ever been on a boat that did that. Could be wrong. It makes you feel a bit arcadey. A bit too arcadey, really. I shall speak to the devs and see what they say about that. Right, it's taken us forever to get out of here, isn't it? Goodness me. I did do a video a couple of days ago, last week I think, something like that, and I invested all the money I had in an engine just to see what it would do, see what the difference was. I didn't do it on this boat, I did it on the next boat up, which is a service boat, and I couldn't tell the difference at first. I felt like we were accelerating much faster than usual, but what I hadn't done is look at the number of knots that we were travelling prior to putting the engine on and afterwards. So I mean, that was a bit silly on my part. But since then, TMTC has done that test on his live stream, and purely so that we could basically figure out what it did. And it does give you a few extra knots, not many, maybe 2, maybe 4, maybe 6, depending on the boat. But that does actually genuinely make quite a big difference. Like, for example, now we're sort of averaging between 8 and 9.5 knots. We could be, with an engine upgrade, be doing maybe 11 or 12 knots. So that would be pretty cool. Hey Tez, how you doing? Streaming on a Saturday? I know. I was just explaining to chat, I've had a terrible headache for the last couple of weeks, so I've not really been doing much. So I'm trying to make up for lost time. And you'll be glad to hear, Tez, that they've released a patch today, which they believe fixes 99% of the crashes that everyone's been experiencing. So I'm very much hoping that that's the case, but I'll continue to save my game religiously and see what happens after a couple of hours of this, if I can stand it. I can actually feel my headaches coming back a little bit. It's probably this bloody hat. It's just a gimmicky cheap hat. It only cost me like a couple of quid, but I thought it'd be fun for the streams. It's a little bit tight on my head, so it could just be that causing it. Nothing to do with anything else. But, yeah, God, we must be out of here soon. Surely to goodness. Stewie, no, I believe they have figured out what the flashy screen bug was as well. I'm not sure if that's been fixed in this patch, but I don't really get the flashy screen problem. But it's almost certainly related to your graphics settings, or a combination of your graphics settings and your hardware in your PC. So it's all the brains up there, Stewie. That's all it is. Can't help that. God dishes out brains, apparently. Not to everyone, obviously. That would be madness. Right, we're still in the fishing habitat. No idea how big it is. I don't even know where the actual marker is. Maybe if I turn the thing off, turn the sonar off. Oh, it does, yeah, it gets stuck on. This is the problem at the moment. If you save whilst you're in a fish habitat, it kind of breaks the fish habitat temporarily.
I have it and I've never had headaches before. Yeah. Could it be the heat maybe?
Ah, you've got it as well, and you don't get hay fever. Oh, that's interesting. That throws a whole new that throws a whole new possibility in. It's not just me either. It's quite a lot of people. You know, me, you, TMTC. He's got a headache this morning. So yeah, I mean, maybe it is just the weird weather. It's kind of hot today, but no idea. Who knows? I dread to think what the answer might actually be. But like a jolly good old Englishman, I'll just press on and not moan about it too much. He says, moaning about it since the beginning of the stream. My poor head. Oh, my lack of sleep. That's how we get through it, by not talking about it. Stupid. Who won the tombola? Do you mean who won the Steam key? That was a chap called, I want to call him Bob. Bob Cass, I think it was the name he used. Seems like a nice enough chap. Yeah, he was quite happy. Hooked him up with a key. I've actually got some more keys to give out. I'm in no position to do it today, but I will do some more giveaways. I've got a bunch more keys that I can give out now. The devs were very kind and they hooked me up with a few keys to say thank you for helping out in the chat, I think, more than anything. But yeah, it's good. It's good. And you know, there's quite a lot of people. You know, I've spoken to quite a lot of people on my channel and in the Discord and stuff. A lot of people who are like, that, you know, they look at the game and they see the good stuff and they're quite excited by it, but at the same time they're like, it's a bit early access for my liking, and I don't really want it. So I'm hoping, you know, one of those guys will win a key. That would be awesome. They're the perfect people for it, I think. Lack of sleep, that's why I got a headache. And you mean it was... No, it's not. I have lack of sleep because of the headache, not the other way round. I slept all day yesterday. And when I say all day, I mean all day. You know, went to bed at 8 p.m. and I got up the next day at 2 p.m. I was just trying to sleep the headache off, but it just didn't work. Wouldn't go. I've had a migraine before, and it feels like the beginning of a migraine. I'm very much hoping it's not that, but like I say, I couldn't sleep last night at all because of my headache, and the cat kept jumping on me. Bloody cats. You know all about that, Tez. Yeah, at 5 o'clock this morning, I just thought, I can't do this any longer. I've been trying to sleep all night, and it's just not happening. So I got up at 5 and took some painkillers, and that has worked, but not for very long. Maybe the tourists blocking the place up already. Tourists. I don't know. I don't know where you're going with that one, Stu. What tourists are we talking about now? Come on, blast. Why are we not out of the thing yet? Gotta be close to coming out of it now. Round about that area. Holiday makers. I haven't seen any holiday makers yet. They'll probably be down today. They're almost certainly going to be down this week, aren't they? You were talking to the missus yesterday and wondering where COVID went. Apparently it's no longer a thing. Extinct in Scotland. Wow. Yeah. I know a lot of people who get ill and immediately assume it may possibly be COVID. Actually, that's really interesting that you said that, Jim, because when I did have COVID, the way it manifested itself in me was one of the most almighty headaches. Holy bananas, it was awful. I was in absolute agony for days, and then all of a sudden, stopped. No more headaches. And that lasted for 12 hours, and then they came back again, and then a couple of days after that I was fine. But yeah, no, you're quite right. It just doesn't seem to be a thing anymore, does it?
Here's a possibility. Maybe you need glasses.
Maybe I need glasses. I do have glasses, actually, Tez. God awful things. They really did a number on me when I went to the opticians. Young, attractive girls say, oh, they look really good on you. They make you look very chic, very suave, very young, very handsome. And I was like, oh, thank you very much. I'll take 2. And then when they turned up, I was like, who the bloody hell ordered these things? They're horrible. And they make me look like a right idiot. So, yeah, I'm not even sure where they are. You're right, it could be that. It could be. It's a lot of things it could be, actually. As you know, Tez, I've just put like a skylight in the shed to try and get some of the heat out, because it gets absolutely baking in here. And I used a sort of a sealant on it, and it stinks. That could also be sort of contributing to it. Oh, you had coronavirus. Oh, nasty, mate. Turned into sepsis. Wow. You have to be really careful of sepsis. Yeah, I've had sepsis, knocks me about quite a bit. The wife had sepsis, nearly killed her. So yeah, that's nothing to mess about with. But yeah, good heads up. Maybe I need to go do a thingy test. I don't even know if you can get them anymore, to be honest. Well, yeah, there's a chance, Tez. Yeah, it could be the sim chat making me high. That is another possibility. It's weird. Normally you've got a pretty good idea what's wrong with you, right? But I have absolutely no idea what's caused this. And it's not going away, and it's a pain in the ass. A little bit like this. This should have... Come on. We're away, surely, by now.
COVID tests in Scotland are £40 a pop.
You're having a laugh, aren't you? £40 a pop. That's mental. They were giving them away for free a couple of years ago.
Not Amazon.
Amazon. Oh yeah, that's a theoretically good idea as well. I genuinely don't think it is COVID. It doesn't have the right sort of ring to it, if you know what I mean. The fact that I take painkillers and it goes away. So I remember when I did have COVID, I mean, it was an awful headache, and it didn't matter what I did. I had a shower, that didn't help. I took painkillers, that didn't help. I slept, that didn't help. I drank loads of water, that didn't help. Nothing helped at all. It was awful. When I say I'm making reviews, know what I'm really doing? Sleeping, yeah. You've seen them for a £5? Wow. That brings up a whole new question, though. I mean, do the ones that cost a £5 actually work? To be quite honest with you, I'm not entirely sure that the ones we were using during COVID worked properly, because I remember when I had COVID, I took the COVID test and it said you haven't got COVID, and I was like, well, that's strange, because my daughter had COVID, and obviously I was looking after her, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I do have COVID. So when the headaches kicked in, I couldn't really do much or whatever. I was absolutely bedridden. But during that 12-hour slot, when I actually felt completely fine again, I took another test, and then I did have COVID. So they're pretty rubbish. Yeah. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust them at all. To be honest with you, I think I was more ill when I had the anti-COVID jab. That really knocked me about. That did not make me good at all. You had to make you had COVID 4 times. Bloody hell. Yeah, there's that that lady who works on ITV morning telly. Her husband died from it, didn't he? It's a horrible story. Too many stories like that. Too many bad things around that whole period. Right, I'm getting a bit concerned here. I would have thought we'd left this by now. I think what I might do is head over here to Elevsnikien. I'm going to head over there. And that's the way the water wants me to go anyway, so let's go with the tide. It'll be quicker if nothing else. I've got 24,000. I don't think that's enough to I don't think that's going to be enough money to buy the upgraded engine. So what I might do is sell the fish that I've got, if there's a port there to do it, and do some upgrades on the boat and then come back out. I'll save it and come back out. That might fix it. Kate's husband, that's it, yeah. Yeah, Jim, yeah, it did. It literally... It was weird. When I had the jab in my left arm here, I had like what I can only assume is what a blood clot feels like. It felt like my arm was being crushed, but from the inside outwards, if that makes any sense at all. Really, really painful, and there's nothing I could do to get rid of it. And it went all round my body. Then it went into my thighs. Then it was in my calves. And then it came up the other side. And then it was in my right arm. Then it went into my right neck. And then my left neck. And then all my glands swelled up. Then it went back into my left arm. And the weird thing is, when I because obviously you still try and carry on, don't you, even though you're in pain or whatnot. And we went to B&Q and picked up a big bag of soil because we were going to try and plant some vegetables. And I picked up this big heavy bag of soil, and it was bloody heavy. So heavy, far too heavy for me, really. But you know, typical bloke. I can lift that. I couldn't. But I did actually lift it, and something popped in my arm. And that was it. So I don't know if it was a blood clot or maybe like a flipping air bubble or something. But yeah, after I picked up that heavy bag of soil, I felt fine again. But you know, it was a couple of days, really bashed me around. I was very uncomfortable, and all my joints were aching, and didn't like it at all. The school taxi, oh, well, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. I think I've said this before, actually. My daughter gets a taxi to school. She has autism, so she goes to a school that's quite far away that sort of looks after her. You know, helps her with her special needs and stuff. So she gets a taxi in the morning to get there. And I didn't know this, but apparently taxi drivers don't have to wear their seatbelts. I mean,
I forgot to say after the sepsis I got blood clot too.
oh, you got a blood clot too, Stewie? Oh my god, that's nasty. Can I ask you, Stewie, did it feel like your wherever it was being crushed? Because that was the feeling I had when I had that jab. Never forget it. It was very, very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable indeed. But yeah, so taxi drivers don't need to wear seatbelts. So my daughter has a lot of anxiety around that. And then, of course, the taxi driver did have a little bit of a crash, only a gentle crash. Thankfully, nobody got injured, no damage to any cars or anything like that. Just like a fender bender in a car parky type style. But yeah, it's not exactly gone swimmingly, but it's okay. It's working.
It was at bottom of Lama.
Jim, yes. So it's a bit of a rumour mill, that one. Somebody, it wasn't me who asked, but somebody else asked a question on the lines of I think head tracking or something like that. And the devs had responded with, or we think we'll be able to get VR running or something like that. So I haven't heard it from the horse's mouth. I've heard it second-hand or even third-hand. But yes, because it's Unreal Engine 5, it's supposed to be... Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? Because it's Unreal Engine 5, it's already supposed to, theoretically, be able to support VR regardless. So, yeah, there's a real chance that this could be VR capable. But when that will happen, or if that will happen, I cannot say at this moment in time. There is a roadmap coming out in the next couple of weeks. I do know that for a fact. And so things on there might be on there. And I'm going to try and push and see if I can get one of the devs to actually come and have a chat with me. So I'll let you know how I get on that front. And if they agree to do it, then I'll come back and I'll get some questions from you guys. If there's any questions you want to ask, like, are you going to implement VR, and if so, when do you think you're going to do it, then I'll ask those questions along with a whole bunch of questions that I've got on my own. So hopefully that'll come through. They seem quite open and willing to communicate with the community, which is good. And I think I loosely refer to Microsoft Flight Simulator and how they talk to the community every month. I think it would be really positive if we could get something like that up and running. Yes, we've left the fish habitat. Unfortunately, it's still up. Huh. Right. Let's save the game. And we'll save it to number 1.
I only when I got up and couldn't breathe properly. CT scan later, there was a white thing, 6 months of blood thinners.
It was in the bottom of your lung, and you could feel it moving up there. Ooh. That doesn't sound very comfortable. You only noticed it when you'd gone up and you couldn't breathe properly, right? CT scan later, there was a white thing, 6 months of blood thinners. Is that all they did? Just 6 months of blood thinners? That was enough to get rid of it? Good Lord. You were lucky though, mate. It was in your lungs. I mean, that's no laughing matter. That's pretty bloody serious. Wife's offering me a coffee. Right, let's see if this works. So I'm going to load back into the game. Game save 1. This should load us outside of the fishing area. Habitat. And it should be working again. There we go. All fixed. A bit annoying that I had to sail so far away, but at least we know we're right on it. I've got plenty of fuel and I can head back in. So not exactly how I wanted to start the stream. Sailing half an hour in the wrong direction so that I can turn around and sail back in. But at least if you ever save the game and have the same problem, you know how to get around it. I have proven that it works. Well, I say that. Let's go back into the fishing habitat and see if it works. It should do. It did yesterday. Well, ordinarily, Stewie, I'd say yes, but we've actually run out of milk and bread in this house. Thankfully, the Marmite situation is stable, so there won't be any murders today, but yeah. But she's found a Tassimo latte macchiato, which comes with milk. So I may go and grab that in a minute. Or she may bring it down to me. No, that won't happen. I may go get it. It's funny, I watched TMTC live streaming this morning. Yesterday his missus brought him a... what did she bring him? Oh, a bacon sarnie or something. Bacon and egg sarnie. Lucky sod. Right, we're in the fish habitat. It's working. What have we got here? Haddock, catfish, cod, pollock. Okay, that's not too bad. So I'm going to head... Move to there. I'm going to come there, I'm going to drop it, and we'll go across there like that. That's my plan. Could you not milk the cow that we've got on the farm? Well, unfortunately for me, turns out it's not a cow, it's a bull. So the answer to that is no. Unless you like lumpy tea. Far too early in the morning for that sort of gibberish, isn't it? Far too early. Bollocks to you too. My God, you lot have woken up lively. You're making me not behave myself. It's terrible news. We're going to get in all sorts of trouble today. I can see it happening. Right, we are hotlining it towards the haddock. And there's a good amount of haddock there as well. I got told off yesterday, by the way. Or corrected. Told off, whatever you like. I was calling them catfish. And it does. I think it says catfish here, doesn't it? Catfish. Somebody corrected me and said that they're called wolffish. So I don't know if that's a Norwegian thing or whether he's, you know, just messing with my head. But yeah, if anyone knows if that's true, do they call catfish wolffish in Norway? I have no idea if that's true. Guy's talking a big load of pollock. Yeah. This is very true. That's a condition that we will never find a cure for, I think. I fear. Do a little bit of... oh no. Not that. Let's do a bit of external, I was going to say. Bit of external boating. Look at this. There's quite a lot of stuff that needs to get improved in this game. one of the things I want to do, if I can secure an interview with the devs, I love the waves though, even though they're turned off, and this is like minimum waves. I do love it. Just love that they have that. It just makes such a difference to the game. Yeah, if I can secure an interview with the vampires, with the devs, I mean, I'm going to try and get some sort of definitive answer as to what kind of simulator this is. Is it a hardcore simulator? Is it an arcade simulator, aka a simcade? Get some idea of what their perspective or viewpoint on a simulator is, and see just how committed they are to realism. I think that would be interesting. You can get dogfish too, can you? Is that your way of saying that there is such a thing as a wolffish? The mini game where you gut the fish, yes, I believe if we can get the next boat up, the tier 2 fishing boat, that will include net fishing. Now, I've heard on the grapevine that net fishing is well broken, but I don't know. That was probably about a week ago that I heard that, so I don't know what sort of state it is in today. But we'll find out. If we can get the tier 2 boat today, we will test it. We'll find out. But yes, if we do get the tier 2 boat, then that's where that would be implemented. Maru, hello, welcome to the stream. In your opinion, you doubt they know at the moment, but Atlantic wolffish is a thing. Ah, okay. That is a superb question, Stewie. I will have to ask that question. I know there's weather, but that's not quite the same as seasons. I know there's weather, and I know there are fishing seasons, so months of the year are in the game. So theoretically, yes. But at the moment, it switches from snow to sun to rain, sort of sporadically at random at the moment, so probably not. They have said the game allows for map expansions. I did say in my review, and I stand by this, I get the impression, and I really hope that I'm right, that they're trying to take an SES approach to this game, in that they will release DLCs to supplement the development that they do on the core game. So the core game will continue to improve and get better for years. And they have confirmed, they have said to me, like, directly, having spoken to some of the devs, directly, they want to work on this long term. They don't want to release another game. They want to work on this one for a really long period of time and make it, and I quote, the best fishing, no, not fishing, the best ship sim that anyone can buy and anyone can play. This is why I'm so keen to get an interview with them and get some sort of real definition about what they regard a sim to be. Because when I talk about sims, I'm looking for realistic physics, which we don't have. I'm looking for realistic damage, which we don't have. I mean, the way the game has been designed, the foundation of it, it is designed in a way that allows for all of that to be included in time. It's just going to take time. That's the only problem. 6 months, I think we'll have a stable game. 12 months, I think we'll have something that resembles a full game. And then in 2 years, I think we'll potentially could have something that, you know, really is really massively popular and positive, just like ETS2. But having said that, what happened in the last 2 games was the arcade community complained that the waves were too wavy, The boats were too boaty, and the damage was too realistic, or too severe. And so they sort of dulled everything down. I'm really, really hoping they don't do that this time. But they have already turned the waves off, although to be fair, the waves could get pretty serious in the harbour. But then, you know, I kind of feel like I'd rather have that, the harbour being totally ridiculous and the waves, you know, coming up over your head and stuff, because you don't have to go out in that. You can just skip time for 12 hours and get a different weather condition. But at least that meant when you were out fishing or whatever, there was a bit of a challenge about it, a bit of fun, a bit of excitement. But anyway, yeah, they've turned that off temporarily, and they're already talking about the damage on the boat. So I agree that the boat does take too much damage. If you're moving at, you know, 0.5 knots and you bump into something, it probably shouldn't do any damage at all. But I think if you're going faster than 1 knot, then it should do a little bit of damage. I mean, even a scratch is damage, right? But I made a few suggestions anyway. Rather than dampening it down,
Gas drilling will go to a wind farm out to sea. Had a blast with it last night.
yes.
Finally a game I can point my boat in a direction, then sit back and enjoy my beer.
Well, you know, there were times when they had the waves turned on. There were occasions where I'd be out in the sea doing a bit of fishing, and I'm a bit like today, where the tide is trying to pull me to the right and take me off course all the time, and the waves were bigger than this, not massive, but they were a bit of a pain in the arse. And then all of a sudden, the sun came up. I'm pretty sure this is on video somewhere. I just can't remember which episode it was. The sun came up, and it just turned into a mill pond. And I just literally, as you say, put the boat in the direction I wanted to go, and I just sat back, and away she went. And she just carried on, and exactly that same radial for absolutely ages. And I actually took a picture of it, and I put it up in Discord, and I said, one of the reasons why I love having waves is because it makes me appreciate mill pond moments like this so much more. But yeah, you know, anyway, it does need fixing. I just feel like, because, you know, equally, whilst there are people who complain about how big the waves were and how crazy it was in the harbour, there are quite a lot of people who have come into the game, having seen my videos or other people's videos, seen the massive waves and how cool that can be, and they've turned them off, so they can't even experience it. And I think that's a poor idea, you know, because, like I say, you can just skip time and then wait until the weather calms down and then park your boat. I don't see what the issue is there. So I wish they hadn't done it, but there you go, they have done it. Regarding the damage, I did sort of suggest that if we go into the shipyard, we can buy the tyres that we hang around the edge. There's like an official name. If you don't use tyres, there is an official thing. I thought each one of those could like protect the side, so like each tyre could reduce the amount of damage that the boat takes on that side by 25%. And then I feel like you can kind of control it a bit better then. You know, put a big one on the front, so if you smash into something with the front of your boat, which is the most likely to get damaged, you know, you put a big wheel on there and maybe it takes 25% of the damage away. Something like that, rather than just getting rid of the damage. I like the damage. It makes me have to be good at handling the boat. And if they take it away, it's just gets boring. They have, Jim. They have been, like I say, the last one they dropped was at 3:30 this morning. So, I mean, they are working round the clock, flat out, trying to get it stable. And it looks like, it sounds like they've got a stable patch now, which is really good.
The second game had better seas that got patched out as well.
Louis, so they've got fireboats already. That's already in the game. And they could do RNLI DLC stuff. And I say that with a heavy heart because one of the things I've always wanted to do was make an RNLI game. So, I mean, this honestly is the kind of game where that could be a possibility. But like I say, they've already got fireboats, so they're already sort of halfway there to your suggestion, to be fair. They patched the game, the last games too, but people complained, so they made it easier. Yeah, they did, Maru. That's, see, I fell out with this dev team on fishing North Atlantic for that very reason. Before the game came out, they contacted me in an email and they said, we've learnt our lesson. It's going to be better. Don't worry. Everything's going to be grand. And they said there's going to be controller support. It's going to be more realistic. Blah, 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 blah. And it just wasn't. And I could see after like a few months of development that it wasn't heading in that direction at all. So I basically said I'm not playing this game anymore. I'm not reviewing the game anymore. But, you know, to their credit, they took my criticisms on board, and here we are, Ships at Sea, with a lot of my criticisms addressed, or at least partially addressed. But yeah, it seems like the same thing is happening. It's like the arcade gamers seem to have more coercive power over the devs than the simulation players. I don't know why that is, to be honest with you. That would be a good question to ask them if I ever get to sit down and have a one-on-one with one of the devs, actually. Get that out in the open and see what they think about that. But the thing is, they do seem to be sort of hell-bent on putting game-type elements in this simulator, and yet when they talk about it, they refer to it as a simulator. So we need to get some definition on what that is. A bigger market for console? Yeah, possibly. I mean, that's obviously going to factor into it to some degree. I kind of feel like, you know, maybe there could be a slider. You know, you could have it on arcade mode or simulation mode. A lot of simcade games, as I like to call them, do that these days. They could do the Weymouth Ferry. I'd really like to see like the Scottish Isles. I'd really like to see some Scottish Isles stuff. That would be awesome. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if they had a slider option, you could tweak it to make it as realistic as you want, I guess. If there's no challenge, people will get bored fast. That's it. But this is the thing, I think, Maru, is the difference between a sim player and an arcade player is exactly that. If it's too easy, if there's no challenge and there's no consequence to your behaviour, then sim players get bored because there is no challenge. And we all know how challenging it is to be a fisherman, right? Especially in the North Sea. So we want to see that in a sim. But arcade players are like the polar opposite of that. If they have to work hard or grind a bit or have to learn how to handle a boat instead of just have it do what they want exactly when they want it, then they get bored. And the silly thing is, in my head, arcade players tend to play games like this for a couple of months and then they're off. Whereas sim players, and you see this with flight sims and train sims and stuff like that, they stick with it and they stay with it and they invest a lot of money in it. So it's like, what are they chasing? Are they chasing the quick money, or do they want long-term investment and support, and do they want the players to be there for them long-term, or what is it they want? They seem to sort of have a mixed idea of what a sim is, and that's causing a few problems. Cruise ships like Southampton to Bilbao, Dover, Calais, Calassis. Ooh, nice. I know that there's a level 3 tier boats coming out. which goes up to or exceeds 175 foot. So much bigger boats than we've got here. But I guess there's nothing stopping them from going bigger still.
That's why I play DCS, makes me feel thick and I want to conquer the modules.
Exactly right, Jim. Exactly right. DCS is an excellent example of a proper sim. All the switches and buttons do what they're supposed to do, and you have to learn that system in order to use it properly. And then you've got to practice. And that's awesome. And I love that. DCS is one of my favourite games, even though I hardly ever play it because I'm always reviewing other games. It's got a real special place in my heart because of that reason. Vanguard, how you doing, buddy? Welcome to the stream. The ocean is unforgiving. One mistake, even the minorest mistake, could potentially get you hurt or killed. Exactly right. Exactly right. And that's what you want to see. I don't know if you guys... I've got a channel called SimUK Ultimate Realism. It's like a sister channel to this, and I've uploaded all my unedited gameplay over the last couple of weeks there, so you can see all the bugs and the crashes and everything. My thoughts and opinions and stuff. But go Aceros, thank you for very much for the follow. And the next boat up from this is a service boat. I forget the name of it, but it's really unstable, and I found some very nasty weather, and I flipped the boat over. Now, if you're an arcade player, you're going to complain about that because your boat's upside down and you couldn't stop it from happening. But what happened was, and I swear to God, I've not seen it since, there was like a mountain of a wave turned up, and it was shaped like a mountain. A totally rogue wave. And I just went over it at the wrong angle and flipped the boat. Now for me, that's fantastic. That's exactly what I want to see. And I was really excited by that. I didn't like the fact that the boat didn't sink, but that's a whole different conversation. The fact that the sea got so rough that it flipped my boat over because I made a mistake, I loved that. I was so impressed. That really cheered me up. And then it's been a week since that happened, and they've turned the waves off, and they're talking about toning down the damage. So, you know, I'm doing the best I can. I am keeping the pressure on and reminding the devs that this is supposed to be a sim game, and we'll just see what happens. All I can do is keep voicing my concerns and offering suggestions, and they can just ignore me or implement it or whatever, but whatever happens, it will take time. That's the only downside, I guess. Could make a Shady Goods DLC trying to get illegal items to destinations. Dewey, you're about one sentence away from suggesting that they start bringing migrants over to Britain, I think. We don't want that DLC. That's a DLC we could do without. City Flyer, hello, welcome to the stream. It sounds like they want the ball in both sides, sim and arcade. I don't mind that so much, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think this is ever going to be a proper simulator. If you know my channel well, you know I've been playing a game called Nautis Homeship Simulator. For me, that has to be the most realistic boat sim I have ever played. There is so much real life stuff that I have learnt by playing that game. It's unreal. I've learnt more in the year that I've been playing that game than I have in my entire life, and I've sailed a bit. I've sailed some 60-footers. I've sailed some tiny little yachts. I've sailed some motorboats. I've sailed catamarans. You know, I have done a bit of sailing. I'm no expert by any means at all, but I do have experience and knowledge of different types of boats in different kind of weather conditions and so on and so forth. And I've learnt more by playing that game about real life sailing than I have in my entire life. It's really that good. Now this game is nowhere near that. And I don't think the devs have the understanding to make it like that, even if they wanted to. And I don't think they do want to. But that's okay, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a full-on hardcore DCS style boat sim. It just has to be realistic enough, and then I'll be all right, you know? And they're not a million miles away from that. The physics on the boats, they're not good enough. The audio, not good enough. There's, you know, but we're basically looking at a game that is, at best, just come out of alpha and gone into beta, whatever you want to call it. So I mean, it's got a long way ahead of it, and all I can do is sort of keep talking to them, keep conveying your thoughts, keep conveying my own thoughts about the game and how realistic it is, and what direction they're going in. And again, you know, the more I think about it, the more important I think it would be to be able to sit down with the devs and have a chat and sort of get some clarity on what they think a simulator is and how much of a simulator this is going to be, according to them.
Simulate even the US Navy, other navies too, can't get it right, and they have probably a billions-dollar pool buyout to do just that for ship disorders.
Vanguard, yes. Well, you say that, but the industry actually disagrees with you to some extent. So simulating water is one of the hardest things to simulate, to get it really, really right, and then to have it interact with a boat or an object in a realistic way is like a whole, you know, that's like doubling the complexity of it all. But according to NVIDIA, who make and produce this waveforms, I think it's called, or wavelengths or something, they make the sea in the water, and their own quote is, it's easy to make water simulation, but to make it feel balanced and right and stuff is quite tricky. So whilst I understand what you're saying, you know, the US Navy can't do it and they've got $1 billion pool, that there is a really good example there that doesn't mean that that necessarily proves that it's hard to do. And that example is that NASA were a multi-billion-dollar enterprise that couldn't figure out how to get a spaceship on the moon. And along comes Elon Musk with a different approach, not constricted by all the red tape and all of the... Because we all know, right? We've all worked for or experienced businesses where there's an idiot at the top who earns all the big money, but actually knows sod all, and constantly doesn't listen to the people that he's hired, the experts below him. So he's making the decisions, but he's not making the decisions based on the information that the people who actually know what they're talking about are saying. And therefore, multi-billion-dollar projects go skew-whiff and over budget and under deliver. It happens all the time. The water simulation in Nautis Home Ship Simulator has to be the best I've seen so far. Underwater currents, as well as tidal waves. It's incredibly well done. It feels very authentic. There are real life sailors who say it's not as... Oh, hang on. Hold that thought. I've missed all these fish, look. Oh no, too much babbling. Right, hang on, let me get back in the boat. Let me turn my brain on. So, there's haddock, there's cod. Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Yui. Come round this fish here and then we'll drop. Did I get myself set up? No. Where's the bloody... I've lost my bucket. Oh, nuggets. One of the other bugs I discovered was if you save the game whilst your bucket is on the back of the boat, it disappears. And I momentarily forgot that when I saved the game. So we've now lost a bucket. That's a little bit annoying, isn't it? Blast. Alright, we'll turn around. To be fair, I've already got probably 2 lines worth of fish in the boat. Don't know if we can hold much more than 3 or 4 anyway, so... But I'll stick to the 1 line at a time thing, because I don't want to crash the game if I can help it. We're in, we're up and running, we're rocking and rolling. They could do a Med Cruise DLC. They could. Genuinely, they could just work their way south from Norway and do the whole of the whole of Europe. Theoretically, if you think about it from an ETS perspective, in many ways it's easier because most of what they're doing is water-based. And you don't have to like build the models or anything for that. Okay, admittedly they're going to have to build some harbours, and there are some big harbours obviously. Where the hell did that seagull just go? Did you see him? Just nosedived into the sea. But there's another one! Oh my god! What's going on? Seagulls are dying. They're committing suicide. I think they're trying to sink our boat, the crazy nut jobs. I've never seen that before. That's quite funny. Research boats to Antarctica, exactly. I mean, that's along the same lines as what Microsoft Flight Simulator I think are doing with 24. It's actually better off going up that way. Let's head north and see what happens. But yeah, basically, because of the way they built the foundation here, they could literally do that. They could map out the entirety of Europe and sell it in DLC sections. I mean, you got places like Rotterdam and stuff. I mean, that's going to be a lot of work to get that to scale, because it does seem to be to scale, or it looks to be to scale. That's something I want to confirm, actually. But yeah, 44 kilometers, I think it is. 44 kilometers square. U-boat's massive patch out next week. You can't wait for it. Jim, I really want to get into U-boat. I really want to put some time into it. And everyone's really excited about this next patch. I don't know why, because I haven't been following the game, but... yeah. Maybe I'm going to put some time into that, I think. I've got a few reviews I've got to do, as I always do. As always happens.
Or you could get contracts to deliver new boats to customers of all sizes and shapes.
Oh, that's a nice idea. I'm hoping, actually, Stewie, at some point that we get sailboats. The MTC will keep me right. Oh, is he a bit of a U-boat player, is he? Fantastic. I'll have a chat with him at some point then. He can clue me in. So I played it when it first came out, and I was really excited and keen by it. But I hit one of those bugs that you just couldn't undo. I think it was just after I sent my men down to retrieve something from the depths. And then a plane turned up or something, and I had to leave some guys there. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then from that point on, my boat would only go in reverse. And it just, when I turned left, it went right, and so on and so forth.
I think
You learned watching him. Oh, okay. I'll have to watch his playlist then. That'll help me. You think Mr. Sim and chat should send in these suggestions? Get them on the phone. Well, I am mentally logging these suggestions, don't you worry, and I will be passing them on. The thing is, I don't really want to overload them with, for example, DLC requests, with the game having just launched, and, you know, they are working really hard. They're up until 3 AM trying to fix bugs and stuff. I mean, they are literally pushing it to the limit. So yeah, I'll give them a bit of grace. I've already had a chat with them about sort of doing regular updates and sort of roadmap information and stuff like that. So I'll definitely be keeping track of how the game's developing and stuff. But I The more I think about it, the more I think it's a good idea to try and get one of the devs to sit down and just get some clarity on some of these things. Who's the makers of this game is Misk Games. They made the previous 2 titles as well. They've won a lot of awards, actually. I want to say somewhat spurious awards. I'm not sure what they're for, or who they're from, or who else was in the running. But Ships at Sea, having played both the previous 2 games, by far is the most likely to be a realistic sim-esque game, in my opinion. But if they do what they've done before and listen to the gamers and not the simmers, then there is always a chance, and I hope this doesn't happen, but there's always a chance that we'll end up with another Fishing North Atlantic, which, to be honest with you, I played it about a week before I got access to this game, and it's so boring. I mean, the sea alone and the weather alone is just, it's mind-numbing. There's no challenge to it whatsoever. But yeah, I mean, if you watched my stream the other day, just getting the line in was an absolute nightmare because of the weather. How's Dovetail getting on since they got bought out? I'm not sure, I think, is the honest answer. Matt would have you believe that nothing has changed, and yet I was seeing patch notes with hundreds of fixes, proper fixes too, hundreds of them just fixed, whereas previously they were doing like 10, 20 at the most. So I think there have been some positive changes there, but I've also seen a mixture of some good content come out and a lot of the old sort of half-assed crap that they used to throw out at ridiculous prices. I'm going the wrong way here. God, pay attention. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I get this. I get the feeling. This is not going to be a popular feeling. I get the feeling they're working on Train Sim World 5. And if I'm right, and they are, then I think Train Sim World 5 will be a lot better than Train Sim World 4. But if I'm correct, then they're using Train Sim World 4 as a cash cow to pay for Train Sim World 5, if that makes sense. So I haven't seen the changes I was hoping for. Let's put it that way. Things are not as exciting as I was hoping maybe they would be, but I just get the impression there definitely have been changes. As I mentioned, you know, I've watched a couple of their streams and they're like, here's 150 fixes that we're just releasing immediately, whereas previously it was 20. So I mean, something has changed there, something has improved. But I just get the sensation that not much has happened because they're working on Train Sim World 5. And I feel like Train Sim World 5... well, put it this way. If Train Sim World 5 comes out and it isn't considerably better than Train Sim World 4, I think that'll be the beginning of the end of Dovetail Games. Because their competitor SimRail, I don't know if you know much about them, but the content they're bringing out in an early access title with a very small team is considerably better than anything that Dovetail Games have released in the last 10 years. So SimRail's looking really exciting. So yeah, an interesting couple of years coming up, I think, for train simulation. And I don't fully know which direction it's going to go in, if I'm being totally honest. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. These 2,500 lines are flipping long. They take like 10, 20 minutes to get the line out. It's crazy. But you do get a lot of fish back on them as well, so I'm not complaining. Not complaining. I just want to get enough cash in to maybe buy the next boat. That's my target. Farm Sim 25? Do you know something I don't know, Stewie? Have they announced Farm Sim 25? I know nothing of Farm Sim 25. I can give you an accurate prediction though. Almost certainly. Giants will do what they always do. Release a half-assed game, which the modding community will then turn into something exceptional. But it will never quite tick all the boxes. That would be my prediction for Farm Sim 25, but I've not heard anything about Farm Sim 25. Do I think they will? No. I mean, they might do, but I get the impression that their Farm Sim 22 was the one that they were going to do an ETS move on and sort of stick with it for a long period of time and just let the modding community run with it and stuff. They brought out a lot of DLCs for that game. I'll tell you my two biggest concerns about Farm Sim 22, but not just 22, Farm Sim in general. Oh, is that it? I think we just dropped a line. Okay, hang on. So the two things that concern me most was when they brought trains into the game that you could drive. I don't know any farmers who drive trains. Not one. And I thought, what the hell is going on here? This is mental. Who thought this was a good idea? And then the most recent DLC that confused me in Farm Sim was the roller coaster builder and the yacht builder DLC. I mean, what the hell? I don't think I know any farmers who sail. I certainly don't know any farmers who have built a flipping roller coaster. I mean, what's going on there? What kind of a simulator is that? So I think they're doing a cash cow maneuver as well. I really do. I don't think they've got any interest in building another game yet. They're just going to try and squeeze as much cash out of this one as they can first. Right, we've got our line down, guys. I'm going to click on the clock here to rest, and we'll rest for 14
DLC baffled me.
14 hours, and we'll see what goes on. Fire engine DLC? You are joking me. Is that a thing? They didn't release a fire engine DLC. Tell me you're joking, please, God. I thought the roller coaster was bad. Although that does pose the question, are they trying to implement fire into the farming experience? Because that could be quite interesting. Sort of. I don't know. Right, let's rest and see where we end up. Well, the good news is we don't have to worry about the weather, because there isn't any. It's always the same. There are fire engines in it. Oh my good God. I don't know why I'm surprised or shocked, but I am. Can't believe they've done that. We're looking really good. First time, look. Here's my thing. Here we go. Right, guys, I am god-awful at this. I know people who have done this, and they say they get them all, or they miss one or two tops. See? Why did I miss that one? I think I was on the mark there. Got that one. Right, that's one. Somebody did give me a tip, and he said, aim slightly left. Well, that did work. Interesting.
Rescue pussycats and balefires not for me, though.
Oh no, I couldn't get that one. Ah. You can now zoom in with the right mouse button, which is kind of cool. See what I mean? I just missed so many. I don't really know why. Got that one though. There used to be like a little circle that gave you some sort of idea of when you were supposed to swing the hook, but they've got rid of that. Sometimes I feel like I'm standing too close. Nice. Oh, get that one. Get that one. Don't miss that one. Oh, thank God I got it. That was a huge fish. And another one. Yes. We're getting better. Right, we did all right there. We got a couple. And there's my bucket. Fantastic. Look, we can just dice this up now. And go again. Right, let's have a little look. Where are the fishes at? Oh, it's not going to tell me because I'm not in the thing. But I'll drop it. We'll enter the cabin. Now we'll have a look. Look, they're all still there. Let's just go through them again. Let's get another load of fish. My idea is to fill up the boat. I don't know what the limit is on the boat. I don't know if there is a limit. I mean, it's early access. There might be no limit at all, but I'd like to try and hit the limit and then see how much money you can make on one load. That would be an interesting video. That's what I'm trying to do today. You can rescue pussycats and balefires. What? That's just mental. That's mental. I suppose, you know, credit where it's due. It does show that they're... What giants tend to do is build the foundation, don't they? And then they let the modding community build the actual content, so to speak. But it shows that it's capable of doing a lot. So, you know, I must commend them for that. What's stuck with me, though, for pretty much the last 10 years, I guess, was when they were bringing out Farm Sim 2017, they did an interview, and one of the German developers said, and I quote, oh, I've already got the thing down, we could make the most realistic farming simulator you've ever seen, but then nobody would play it. And I thought, if that's true, why are there so many mods to make the game more realistic, and why are they always the most popular mods? It just made no sense to me that that was his thought process. I do wonder, perhaps, if Fishing Barents Sea, Myths Games, maybe they've got a similar sort of theory. They're capable of making the most realistic fishing sim you've ever seen, but then nobody would want to play it. I don't think that's true. I mean, I don't think it's true that people wouldn't want to play it. I'm sure they could build the best, most realistic fishing sim, and I'd love to see it. I'd definitely invest my cash in that. I have no qualms about spending... And you know, I don't mind spending big money. I paid 120 quid for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that's not particularly the best flight sim I've ever played. But I don't mind spending the cash, and, you know, there are things that Microsoft Flight Simulator have done that are absolutely groundbreaking. Phenomenal. Incredible. And, again, I think they must be commended for that. But the truth of the matter is, as sim fans, we want realism. That is the draw. We are after realism. And the truth of the matter is, if you're a pilot or a captain of a boat, there are risks, serious risks to life. And personally, I'd like to see those risks in a simulation game. If they're not there, I don't think it's a simulator. Oh, interesting point, if you're interested, if anyone's heard about Sail Away. There's Sail Away, Sail Away 2, which is basically the same game but rebranded. And there soon is to become Sail Away 3. And all the criticisms I made of Sail Away 2 have been addressed, or most of them, not all of them. So Sail Away 3 is going to be far more realistic. But I have been asked not to review Sail Away 3 because it's not ready for the likes of me to review it. But it is nice to see that some devs have taken on board my criticisms and they're trying to build better simulators off the back using my recommendations. So watch this space. The next couple of years could be really interesting on Sim UK. You know, if some developers really do listen and sort of take on board some of my suggestions, we could see some incredible games coming out that actually tick a lot more boxes than they currently do. Fingers crossed. Listen, whilst the boat is in a semi-steady state, I think I might go grab that coffee because I've got a bit of a dry throat. So if I can leave the boat in your capable hands, everyone, please don't crash the boat or sink it or crash the game or anything like that. And I'll be back in 2 wags of a lamb's tail. I think that's a saying. It won't be long.
It's called the Emergency Pack. Rescue people from car crashes, bale fires, rescue cats and whatever other mods are available.
How's that for timing?
Just done a delivery to Bay, 17 kilometers and felt like I was in a swimming pool. I don't appreciate the lack.
Thank you very much, guys. You did a fantastic job. You've dropped them right in the right place and everything. Superb. I knew I could trust you. Right. I think I see it. It's right there. It's called the emergency pack. You can rescue people from car crashes as well. Good God. Maybe they're thinking of diversifying or something. You've just done a delivery to Skomvea, 17 kilometers. Oh, I've done that one. It felt like you were in a swimming pool. Yeah, I know, it's horrible, isn't it? Sometimes, Jim, it's really nice to have a totally still sea so that you can just sail in one direction and not have to worry about anything. But yeah, when it's all the time, it's really boring. I really wish they hadn't turned it off. I was a bit shocked when they said they were going to turn it off. Too many whingy people. Right, let's do this. 14 hours. Let's rest. Quelle surprise, the weather is exactly the same. Sadly enough. You never know, we might be able to get another line down here. The truth is, if I stop missing them when I'm trying to hook them in, we'll get a lot more fish and I won't have to keep doing this. Oh, I'm not sure if that's close enough. Maybe. Yes. Right. See how we get on here. There's fish coming up. Missed. Got it. Yes. 100%. All right, here we go. Ah, bum. So apparently this is the wolffish, I think, is what I've been told. Damn it. Got that one. That's 2. 50% so far. These little ones are really hard to get. Yeah, I never get them. Ever. No, I just cannot get the little ones. There's another one. Bloody hell. Looks like a herring as well. I swear I was on that one. I don't know why that didn't come in. Flipping hell. Oh, this is bad. Oh, look at this one. Huge. Come on. God for that. Nice. I feel like we've got a... No, let's see. We got 2. How many fish have we got now? I mean, that's a fairly decent whack. 22.7 cod. 620 smaller cod. There's a lot of haddock in there. Oh, some massive cod here, look. Or are these little? These might be the little ones. No crabs yet, Stewie. Thank God. Horrible, itchy little things they are. No, the crab DLC is something we can expect later this year, I would imagine. But yeah, it's not coming anytime soon. Right, let's do this all over again. Oh, hello. I seem to have... That's interesting. I seem to have got my bucket back. Oh, no, I haven't. I've still only got one. For a minute there, I thought I'd fixed it. Let's go again. So I've got a little drinky poos this time. Right, you can see the fish have moved around, which is really cool. So now I've got to put the line down in a different place. Jim, no, that's what I'm hoping to get to today. I'm hoping to unlock the tier 2 boat and do a bit of net fishing. But I've heard it's very broken. Have you tried it?
Was it this one that did lobster?
Yeah, Fishing North Atlantic did lobster, yeah. Did they do lobster? I think they did lobster. I'm pretty sure they did lobster. If it wasn't lobster, it was crabs. If it wasn't lobster, then it may have been the really old fishing game. That's what we're after. We're after the cod.
I haven't, I was just...
Cod and haddock, that's what we want. Don't really want any pollock.
So far.
Oh, you've only done deliveries so far? Okay. Okay, have you got yourself up to the level 2 delivery boat yet? Or are you still working on that as well? I'm very interested to see what... because my understanding is that the level 2 boats are the ones that take damage and can have electrical problems and all that sort of stuff. It sounds really interesting, so I'm very much looking forward to trying that out. And I was just about to get my level 2 boat when they released the last patch that broke everybody's game save files, so I feel a little bit hard done by, to be fair. But I won't cry about it. I'll just carry on fishing, and hopefully we'll make a cool million or something. Does he really? Because I've always thought that haddock was the substitute for cod. I didn't know they could use pollock as well. Don't they have to announce that though? They must have to say that on the packet or something. That's like when Findus used to do beef pancakes or whatever they were, and they were using horse. I don't think they'll let that stuff go by anymore. Not the 80s now, Stewie. Should we do a bit of outside sailing? I always do inside sailing.
In relying on you to keep me right.
That. I love that shimmer, that blue shimmer. Looks really nice. I'm responsible for you buying it. You're just plodding along. You're relying on me to keep you right. Understood, Jim. Mission accepted. Yeah, the plan is, and I'll let you guys into a little bit of a secret. I have semi-secured a regular update show or something along those lines, which I will be producing. I'm not sure how often. It might be once a week to start with, and then it might fade off a bit to once a fortnight or once a month or something like that. But we've got to let the devs get past the initial launch where they're having massive overload of people having problems that they're trying to fix. Once we get past that, then I'll start doing these regular updates. Because at the moment, the patches, as you well know, are coming through thick and fast. Excuse me. It's like, you know, maybe one a day, sometimes two a day, which is obviously too much for me to cover. It says on the back, may contain pollock. Does it really? The cheeky gits. Hand on heart, I have no idea what pollock tastes like. I bet it tastes like a fish finger, doesn't it? It must taste semi-close to cod, if that's what they're doing, you would think. Or I would think. I could be wrong, but I would think that. I would hope that. I might go up here, you know. Is that just a refuel station, or is there a port there? Very difficult to tell, isn't it? There is a delivery thing here. Oh, it's a mission. Active boat needs to support medium cargo. And you also need to have the crane operator skill. Okay, that's cool. So it looks like the missions are up and running now. It didn't seem to work previously. So there's just that one mission. How much money is it, I wonder? Oh, it doesn't tell you. That's a bit cheeky, isn't it? I think it should tell you. I think it should say how much the mission is worth. Because I've got to take my boat all the way back to port and swap to the correct boat, only to find out that I've got to sail another 15 nautical miles to get there, and they're only going to pay me 10 grand or something. I really think I'm gonna mention that to the devs. In fact, I might even say it now before I forget. Good news, by the way, we've got milk in the house. So I've actually been able to have a proper coffee instead of a ladylike latte or whatever it was. Right, Discord. Let's make sure I'm in the right channel. Could we please add the price of a mission so we can decide if it is worth going all the way back to port to swap boats? Thanks. Smiley face. If that doesn't get them to change it, nothing will. Hopefully that's a quick fix. It should be literally a 5-minute job, that one. Just makes it a bit fairer, I think. Does look good like that, doesn't it? Fishing away. Superb. Right, we've got a buoy down there, so we're getting there. We must be nearly at the end of the line. No, maybe not. A bit further to go. We're going right over the cod. And the cod is on the radar, so we are looking good. I was going to steer away from the pollock, but now that Stewie's told me that Bird's Eye will buy them, it's worth grabbing, I guess. Worth grabbing a couple of pollocks, just to make that little bit of extra cash on the side. There are missions where you get to use the fire hose on the service boats. Yep, that is in the game. That has been in the game since before launch. That was actually the mission I was trying to get to. I bought the service boat with the fire hydrant on it, and I was looking for that mission to come up. And that's when they swapped out the big patch that broke all the game saves. So that's the furthest I've got, but I never got to do the mission. I haven't actually managed to do that yet. That is on my list of things to do. I will get there just as soon as I can. And also, yeah, TMTC was telling me this morning he's seen a mission where a boat had broken down and needed an engineer to go out and rescue them. So I believe that would be go out there to fix whatever's broken and repair it, or B, to tow them back to port, which could be very interesting. Especially the way things are going at the moment. How stable that would be, I don't know. Right, there it is. We've dropped the line. Do another UE and see if we can get it. Who empties the poo bucket? Oh my god. Cardinal sin, that is, Stewie. Nobody uses the poo bucket whilst you're at sea. If anybody needs to use the poo bucket, it's much better if they just go for a little swim. If you catch my drift. Hope that you haven't eaten too much fibre prior to that event. Oh my lord. It's far too early in the morning for such shenanigans. Right, let's do it again. Let's rest. 14 hours seems to be working. Bosh. What's the weather like? Exactly the same, of course. I tell you what, arcade players, you have a lot to answer for. You've already ruined 2 of these games. I hope they don't do it again. Oh my god, look at that for bad driving. Back it up, back it up.
It's snowing in mine.
It's snowing, yeah. I think that pretty much confirms that seasons aren't in the game at the moment, at least, doesn't it?
You can be the AA service of the open seas.
We could be the AA service of the open seas. Except they wouldn't call it the AA. They'd call it the II. Oh, you son of a bitch. I so wanted that fish. Yes. That's 50%. All right, come on. We can do it. We can't do it. Oh, no. We did it. Oh, my God. I've never caught one that late on in the swing. I think I'm standing too close. I think you have to get really close for the little ones. Maybe not that close. Damn. I never ever managed to get the little ones. They just... I don't know where I'm supposed to be hooking. So rubbish at this. No, don't miss him. Don't miss him. Oh, man, that was a huge fish. Got one. As long as I get the big ones, you know, we're not doing too bad. Because they're worth a hell of a lot more money than the other ones. We're getting a nice collection of fish there now. Right, where are we in terms of the world? So I think we're going to have to go all the way back up here, which is a little bit irritating. Because I don't know if I can sell there, so it would be a waste of time. So... let's do one more. Because I know this is riveting stuff, guys. I know how excited you are to watch me lay yet another line of fish.
I have the most luck aiming the circle just above the fish's mouth. Don't get a bad one, antibiotics needed.
You have the most luck aiming the circle just above the fish's mouth. Okay. I've been told as well, hello Paladimors, nice name, to aim slightly left of the mouth. Seems to be a positive result as well. Don't know if you've had that experience. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Don't get a bad one, antibiotics needed. Yeah. Try not to. You're assuming it's only Rost where you can sell the fish. Huh. I don't think that's true. I'm really trying hard to think now. Because I've been to the one that's 17 nautical miles away in the northeast. And they had a shipyard there and a shop. I'm not entirely sure if they had a fishery. I can't remember. It's too long ago. My headache has kind of clouded my thoughts a bit as well. All I can say is you can definitely sell fish at Rost. I'm not so sure about the other two. I will check though. When we get the next boat, and hopefully we'll be able to do that when we take these fish back. I'll get the bigger I'll get the bigger engine and stuff. It makes sense, aiming more where the fish is going to be rather than where it is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a pleasure to have you. It's a pleasure to have you. I also feel like sometimes, Palanimore, I feel like I'm standing too close and the hook is going past the fish, so to speak. And if I step back a little bit, then the hook is in the right place. I don't know if you've had any experience like that. I need more practice, I think, is basically what's going on there. I'm certainly not very good at it, and I find that incredibly frustrating. But some people are very good at it, so I know there is a chance, though it's not too bad, I suppose. Yeah, that's a good question, Stewie. Where am I putting all these fish? I did ask the question, and the only thing I can think of is it's in the hull here, or in the hold. So I assume under here we lift that up and there's like space for fish, or maybe it's these things. I doubt it though. These are more likely to have life jackets in and stuff like that, so I'm thinking it's under here. But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of fish, right? There's like nearly 1,500 fish there. These are 230 there, another 200 there, 300 there nearly, 600 there. That's a lot of fish for a little boat.
You've received 100 messages today with the stream chat.
You get more luck standing to the right instead of being inside the line. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that myself, actually. That rings true with my experiences as well. You're on your way back with 158,000. Very nice. You're going to pick up your first fishing boat. Ah, cool. Don't forget to get your long line fishing skill before you go fishing. Seems more productive than deliveries. I think you can have a maximum of 4 buckets on this boat. I started off with 2 and I lost one because I saved it in a stupid way. But yeah, you should be able to put 4 lines down at once, and now that they've fixed the crashing problem, although, you know, keep saving your game often and in multiple saves, you should be able to make at least 500,000, I think, per fish now. Cargo holds aren't functioning right now. Ah, I did wonder if that was the case. Yeah. I think it does say somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Somewhere it does tell you. Maybe it's in the shipyard. I'll go and have a look when we go back there. But I think it does tell you how many fish it can hold. And I think it's something along the lines of it can hold 500 cod, 600 pollock, you know, something like that. Can't remember what it is. I'm hoping it's more than that, but in fact I'm hoping it's not done that way at all. I'm hoping it's done on weight. That would make more sense to me. That would be more realistic. But we'll see. The game has a long way to go before it's considered finished. 1,600 kilograms of fish. Okay. Okay, so it is done on weight, so that's good. How much have I got here? 1,600 kilograms. Okay. Anyone know how many kilograms are in a ton? It wasn't me, Stewie. I was in bed with a headache. But yeah, on a serious note, that is very sad news. It does happen a lot round here. It's quite concerning, actually.
1,000.
1,000. Okay, so there's 1,000. 1,000. Right, that's confused me. 1,000 kilograms in a ton. So we can do 1,600 or 16,000 kilograms. Is it 16 tons or 1.5 tons? Because I've got like 9.4 tons of cod here. I think maybe I'm pushing the boat beyond its actual realistic limits here.
Not just there, everywhere.
Yeah, this is true, Stewie. It's becoming a bit of a thing, isn't it? This country is becoming less and less safe by the day.
Tier 2 is 6,600 kgs.
Okay, so we've exceeded the limit on this boat then. That's interesting. I think there's a lot of balancing that needs to be happening. Actually, I've got a question for you guys. For those of you who've been out in the game and done some fishing, I feel like on a 500 line hook, you should have to haul in 50 fish. I'm pulling a number completely out of my hat here. For a 1,000 line, I feel like you should have to pull in 100 fish. And for a 2,500 line, I think you should pull in 250 fish. See, when I say that, it feels like too many. But do you know what I mean? I think there should be more fish that you have to pull in than we currently do. It just seems too easy. Too easy right now. I don't like it. It's not me rocking the boat, Stewie. If you lot just sit still in the back, we won't have this constant rocking all the time.
More fish per longer line. Yeah.
Yeah, more fish per longer line, but I also think, like, the number of fish that we pull in needs to be more. I don't think there's enough at the moment. Like, I've just literally then done a 2,500 line, and I think I pulled in maybe 20 fish, which just seems it's too quick. Do you know what I mean? It's not enough for my liking. I'd like to see more. In fact, I'm gonna ping that. I don't know what the number should be though. I think if a 250 on a 2,500 line, that's going to take you a long time. And maybe that's what we want. Maybe we do want it to be as realistic as that. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we need a slider. Maybe 250 is the maximum. Maybe no, 2,500 would be mental, wouldn't it? That really would be crazy. Maybe maybe 250 could be the limit, and then you could like adjust that slider so that it could be 100%, 50%, 20%. I don't know, something like that. Oh, there goes my thing.
The slider would work. For people who want a more sim feel.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I said when long lining, can we have a slider to control how many fish we have to pull in? Perhaps 250 fish max on a 2,500 line. Or more, if possible. Then we can control the level.
Get closer to the cargo missions on the map. It shows you the reward.
Of
I've
realism.
got a medium delivery mission 400 meters away and it's for 15,000.
Okay, interesting. Okay. I still feel like it should be visible from anywhere.
Can that ship not carry cargo?
For many, many, many reasons. No, that's a good question actually, Caleb. Caleb, sorry. So if I step outside a minute, I mean, clearly, if I wanted to carry a couple of boxes in there, you would argue that's a possibility, right? But at the moment, the game will restrict you from doing that. And I don't think it should. I think it should be more realistic and say, if you can fit it on the boat and it doesn't exceed the weight limit, then you can take it. But, you know, these are things that hopefully will come 6 months, 12 months from now. These realism kicks.
It's listed as being able to do excess cargo, but I don't think it can.
Okay. It is listed as doing excess cargo. I don't think it can either. I think if you try and take something on, we'll try it. We'll go and see if we can do a little mission, and we'll try it. It's worth a test, isn't it? My initial expectation is that we can't do it, but I could be wrong, and I'd be happy to be proved wrong. Shows excess cargo in the warehouse, right. So, okay, so maybe they have thought about it, and it just hasn't been implemented properly. I mean, that's very possible. But we'll test it. We'll go back to shore, we'll sell the fish, and we'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. Right, let's rest for 14. Go pick this bad boy up. Ah, yeah, that's possible, Palanimal. Yeah, that's a good idea, good suggestion. Are my working lights on? I don't feel like they are. Oh no, this is going to be terrible. I can't see a thing.
I have but couldn't take the groceries mission.
Ah, missed one. Oh, somehow got him. Right, okay, let's stand a little bit further to the right, aim a little bit to the left. Damn it. Oh, thank God I got that one. That was a huge fish. Oh, wow, I got a little one. Missed it.
I was thinking mine was just bugged.
Missed it. Gotcha. We should get some decent money off this. Even though I'm missing loads, we're actually catching quite a few as well. No! I hate it when I miss big ones like that. Got that one though. No! Oh! Really drives me potty when I miss them. Right, okay, so we've still got a bucket and we can head home now. What do you want me to do, guys? Do you want me to go via... Oh, there's another mission there. Another goods delivery one. Do you want me to go via Storfield before we head home and see if I can sell the fish there? It'd be cool if we can. That would definitely make things a bit better, I think.
I should check
Work
the
like
title since it's listed as being a minor hauler.
Okay, so you've tried demounting the long line and you couldn't take the groceries mission. Okay, interesting. Give it a try. The tier 2 is listed as being a minor hauler. Okay, interesting. So they're both theoretically capable of doing it then. That's good. At least the idea there is there.
Finding new places to sell fish closer would be really helpful.
Yes, okay. I will. I'll swing by. It's always good to test. Speaking of which, I will just whack a save in. Just because, you know, it is early access. You can never be sure that it's going to be completely stable. You can hope as much as you like. There's no guarantee of nothing. That's interesting. I've turned the sonar off, and yet they're still showing up. Bit of a bug there, perhaps. You do a save about every 10 minutes, yeah. Well, up until the patch this morning, I'd have said that's about the right number. But they seem pretty confident they've fixed it, and I haven't had a crash yet. And I've just dropped... How many did we do today? It's got to be 3 lines, isn't it? 4, maybe? Quite a few. So, I mean, that's more stable than it's been for quite some time. That's 2 hours without a crash. Unless I've forgotten that we've had one. I hate saying that because I feel like I'm tempting fate, but that's the reality of it. It's just over 2 hours without a crash, so it's looking good. It's looking more stable than it was yesterday.
Is the fishing minigame similar to the previous titles?
Orb 505, hello and welcome. Hody, I've never heard that term before. Where are you from, Orb 505? Is it supposed to say Heidi, or is Hody a thing? I'm curious now. Is the fishing minigame similar to the previous titles? Yeah, almost identical, I'd say. Except the only difference I can think of off the top of my head is we used to have coloured circles that made it really easy to like pull the fish in and gut the fish and all that kind of stuff. I don't think that's implemented yet, or possibly they're doing away with that so that it's more realistic, but I don't know. It was supposed to be howdy, fair enough. New keyboard. I could do with a new keyboard. But is the camera on? Oh, that camera's on. Let me show you the state of my keyboard. Ah, just as the camera goes off. I won't bother lifting it up because it's probably all the keys will fall off. Yeah, I'm missing one key and I've got about 5 on there that are not the key they're supposed to be. I don't recommend buying this particular brand of Corsair. I can't remember what it's called now, but don't buy it. Corsair know that their keys are terrible as well, because when I complained, they said, our bosses have informed us that we can send you... I think they sent me 12 key replacements. I'd broken one key, and I was really annoyed about it, because they wanted like £35 for... £35 to replace 4 or 5 keys. That's ridiculous, right? Absolutely disgusting. So I complained, and they said that our bosses allow us to send you, I think it was 5 keys or 7 keys or something. So at that point, I'd only broken one key, and it was the shift or the control key. I can't remember now. I think it was the control key. No, it was the shift key, sorry. So I had to, in that moment, guess what the next 7 keys that were going to break were. I mean, how flipping ridiculous is that? So I did. I guessed. I said, well, the shift key again, because that makes sense, right? Because it was the first one to break. Followed by the control key, because I could see that going. And then probably WASD. So I replaced all of those keys. And then they're not the ones that broke. I lost an H and an F for the next 2 keys to break. And then I did lose a control. So I got 1 right, but I got 2 wrong. So that was a slight side note there, just to bring you all up to speed on my keyboard situation. It's yeah, it was annoying for the first couple of weeks, but I'm kind of getting used to having no key on the F key. Kind of. I do need to get a new keyboard. It's silly. The worst thing is, those 7 keys that came in an envelope, I buggered if I know where I've put them. It is, it's cap key roulette, yeah. Yeah, I don't recommend Corsair anymore. Corsair, I believe, have just taken over Fanatec. Did you hear that? Now, if you follow stocks and shares, you'll know that Corsair's stock price has absolutely gone through the floor. And I believe, personally, it's because their prices are too high. They bought up the Stream Deck company as well. Yeah, Fanatec was really struggling, and I think they went into administration, and they did a deal with Corsair, and Corsair have bought them out. You've got your fishing boat, you've named it Pike Destroyer. Very nice. You're off to catch. Have I told you guys about my pike incident? I'll tell you now anyway, because I'm sure you haven't all heard this story. So I used to do a lot of fishing when I was a young man. I probably fished consistently up until I was about 12. Don't tell him, Pike. Touche. That was very quick. I like that. 10 points. So, yeah, I was fishing in my local canal in Fleet, if you know Fleet at all. And I'd fished in this canal for probably a couple of years.
I have had my Corsair for 3 years and not a single problem. Even spilled a drink on it and took it apart, cleaned the sheets and has been flawless for the last 3 years.
Oh, fair play, Caleb. I'd like to know what version keyboard you've got, if you can tell me, because I do need to replace this one. I'm sure it's only this model that's the problem. I'm sure there are decent Corsair out there. I didn't mean to completely kibosh them. Anyway, back to my pike story. I'd been fishing in the canal for years and just caught a whole bunch of like little tiddlers, nothing special.
Spent a solid 6 hours in it.
And
Sure has a ton of promise.
one day there was a dredging machine dredging up the canal, and basically it's just a boat that trudges along very slowly, and it's got like this jaw on the front with spikes on it, and it just digs into the ground and rips up all the reeds and all of the weeds and everything that's underneath the water. Anything that's under the water, we're talking like shopping trolleys, anything like that, just picks them up, lifts them up really high out the water. And I was watching this, £23. Wow. Right, well, I tell you what, I don't know how big this pike was, but I was watching this dredging machine and it pulled a pike out of the thing, and I swear to God this pike was longer than I was tall, and I'm 6 foot. This thing was huge, and when I saw the teeth on that SOB, I immediately, I mean there was also a dredger coming straight towards me, but I immediately picked up all my gear and left, and I've never fished in that canal since that day. That absolutely scared the crap out of me. First of all, I thought if I catch it, it'll probably pull me in. And then I thought if it doesn't pull me in and I pull it out, it's going to bite my flipping hand off. So yeah, I'm absolutely petrified of pike because of that one incident, but that was a big pike. I wouldn't be surprised if it was approaching £23. To be honest with you, it was huge. Absolutely enormous. Canvarus, hello, welcome to the stream. You bought Ships at Sea today after watching my content. Oh, very kind of you, thank you very much. Spent a solid 6 hours in it already and sure has a ton of promise. Fantastic, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Canvarus, I'm sure you've heard already, but today they released a patch that supposedly and seemingly has fixed all the crashing. So hopefully your game experience will be better than most. Caleb, you got a K55 RGB. Interesting. I could be wrong. I think I have a K100 RGB. So maybe it's just the keys on my K100 that are crap. But then I suppose it does depend on what you do with it, Caleb, as well, because obviously I do a lot of typing on this keyboard. And I used to do a lot of FPS stuff as well, and I think it was that broke the shift key, was the FPS stuff. Oh, that was your biggest pike. Sorry, your biggest pike. I misread it earlier. I thought it was the biggest pike in Scotland. So your biggest pike, £23. Good God. I've got to be honest with you, Genocide Jim. If you and I were out there fishing and you pulled in a £23 pike, you wouldn't see me for dust meat. I'd be gone. You'd be like, give us a hand with this, will you? Yeah, I'd be out there. I'd be so far away from the water, it'd be untrue. Ah, dear me. I should go out and catch a pike one day just to see if they're as scary as I think they are. The Tier 2 fishing ship Conquest can be rigged for light cargo. Sorry. The cat sent it early, that's funny. Bloody cats, honestly, they were waking me up last night as well. So it can be rigged for light cargo. That's interesting. That's really cool. Well, looks like there's a bit of a reef coming up. Look at this. A bit of a shallow out there. I can't see it. It's totally invisible. But you can see it on the map, look. It's just to my left now. I don't know how deep it is because the map isn't that detailed, but if I had a bigger boat, I'm sure that would be quite a serious problem. But we got away with it. It's okay. Carry on. Jim, I believe it. They can grow to some size. First time I had a big one, I was hooked. Pardon the pun. Do you actively go hunting pike then? I know fishermen do kind of tend to do that, don't they? They find something they like and they stick at it. I used to really like ledger fishing. That used to be my thing. I don't think you can catch a pike on ledger fishing, but could be wrong. I could be wrong. They do like to swim down the bottom, don't they? Big nasty buggers that they are. Caleb, also having the Night Sword RGB mouse and HA70 Pro wireless headsets and the H150i Elite XT250 Rad. I had an H150i Elite XT240 Rad, I think. Was it a 240 or 120? It might have been a 120 actually. Yeah. Tavares, 0 crashes, 0, thank you for the correction, in 6 hours, perfect. Even ran the notorious long cargo run that was crashing for some. So, been lucky, excellent. Yeah, I did that 17 nautical mile run right in the middle of all the crashing and it didn't crash for me either. Having said that, when I got to the port, I went into the shipyard and it crashed, so... yeah, I suppose it wasn't really working properly when I did it. And that was back in the day. This is probably before you joined the game, Tanvaris. But that was back in the day where if you saved the game and reloaded it, you always started in Rost, no matter where you were.
It's calling my 11900 KLOL.
Pike fishing all the time. It's like chasing the giant. Yeah, I get that. You love getting out on the locks in your wee boats. You normally troll with up to 25 centimetre lures. Ah. That must make it harder. Or does it make it more fun, Jim, being on the boat? 'Cause you've got less purchase, one, I would imagine. A pike, you know, a pike that size, it could probably drag you around all over the loch if it wanted to. It's calling your 11900K. That's a nice processor right there. I'm only running a 9900K at the moment on this one. It's a bit underpowered, this PC. I have a much more powerful PC over there, but a much less powerful PC over there. So this is my middle PC, but yeah, it's done quite well. I built them all myself. And they're all different. Very, very different. Very different indeed. Right, that's the coffee gone. Hasn't really woken me up that much, I have to say. Nope, that's not a good place to put it. Let's put it there. And this bottle of squash is available. Lovely. Right, how far we got? We're about halfway there. Look at this shoal. I just missed that shoal as well. Or was that the one? I think that might have been it, actually. Shallows. So it's nice to have names on the map. We didn't have this when we started. That made life quite a bit more difficult. Need to, excuse me, change my trajectory somewhat. Need to go sort of northwesterly. Try and get back on my marker. Everyone you talk to warned you of using the 11 series because of how hot they get. Ah, interesting. Animal, this build does seem more stable in general, yeah. I think they discovered something in the graphics. I haven't got confirmation of that, but there was, I mean, people were for a while there, people were proper flapping about You know, some people were very unhappy, very unhappy. I've seen some very unhappy people in the Discord. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely. I mean, I'm a YouTuber, so they gave me my key for free, so I haven't had to pay for it. That doesn't mean that I therefore let them get away with anything. But it's, you know, it's kind of a job for me rather than I've invested my money and I'm playing the game. It's like, it's my job to do it. So putting up with all the crashes and the bugs and the issues and stuff, that's kind of my job. I'm here to point those bugs out to the devs so that they can fix them so you guys don't have to put up with them. That's the point. And then I review the game and I tell you about the bugs and the issues so that when you buy the game, you don't go, oh my god, what the hell's going on here? So it is a bit different for me. But even with that being said, the number of crashes that were happening were really pushing my limits. I mean, I was getting to the point where I had to walk away from the game and have a bit of a break, because having tried to come out and fish, I don't know how many times it's happened to me now, 6, 7, maybe 8 times, half an hour journey to drop a line and then it crashes. That's really stressful, really stressful. You needed the 11 so that you could use all 3 M.2 slots. Why did you need an 11 to use 3 M.2s? What's the association there, I wonder? You can't beat the ratchet noise coming from the drag when they strike. £3 test curve rods bent over double, or is that £31 test curve rods bent over double? Bloody hell, though. Bloody hell. Scrambling to turn off the outboard. A decent pike can turn my 4-metre inflatable rib boat. Bloody hell. I think my fear of pike is justified, I really do. They seem like the most horrific fish in the world. They're not even very pretty. I mean, do you think they look pretty when you take them out of the water? I mean, obviously you're proud that you've won the battle, but do you think it's a pretty fish? I think it's a pretty mean-looking bugger. But then I'm scared of them, so anything about them I don't like, I suppose. Excuse me. 4 hours ago you were crashing every 10 to 30 minutes. And when you finally said you were done for the time, you checked the Steam and had an update ready for download. How's that for perfect timing? I mean, to be fair, I don't know if you saw my review before you bought the game, but I personally tried very hard to make it clear that the game was incredibly unstable, and that you were going to have to be patient. But you know, I mean, even saying that, the number of crashes we've had, that was really pushing my patience. It really was. So I'm so glad that they've worked so hard and got it sorted. And I'm really happy they've got it sorted. It feels like they have.
I finished my trip back to unlock tier 2 less then shut it off until now. Horrible fish, it's when you're trying to take the hook up with forceps, its big eye follows you.
The horrible fish. It's when you're trying to take the hook out with its forceps and its big eye follows you. I know, it thinks it's going to eat you. They do. They look. I've seen them be caught by other people, and they do. They literally look at you as if to say, "I'm gonna, you know, give me half a second, and I'm gonna bite your face off." That's what they look like. Horrible things. Hate them. Hate them so badly. You had a crash happen yesterday, and when you logged back in, your entire hold of fish. Oh no! And your long lines were gone. Oh man. You finished your trip back to unlock tier 2s and then shut it off until now. Wow. Yeah, that's like a kick in the teeth when that happens, isn't it? I've had a few similar instances. Yeah. I'm so glad they seem to have got it stable now. I'm gonna push the devs and try and get them to make a beta branch, because now we've got something stable. I don't want all the whingy whiny people to just continue whinging and whining all the time. You know, I'd much rather everybody have a stable build that they know they can play and it's not going to break, and then we have a beta for people like me to go and test out new features and basically do what we've been doing for the last 2 weeks. Play the beta, find the bugs, report them back to the devs, they can fix them, and then you guys don't have to put up with it. I'd like it if they could do that. Hey Solder Gaming, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you here, welcome to the stream. You started watching Brad first, and then you found me. Is that Brad... what's his name? Brad 20... Brad 48? Brad 24? Something like that?
Morning, sir.
Good morning, TMTC1. How did you get on today? Did you get your fish farm up and running properly? TMTC1, another one of the YouTube early access chaps who's been working really hard along with me and everybody else trying to find bugs and fix stuff for you. Brilliant YouTuber, please do go check him out. Really fun guy to watch, and doing some wonderful stuff over there. Hopefully he's got his fish farm up and running. It's something I'm looking to do in the future once he's figured out how to do it, and I'll copy him. Next Monday, is it? Oh, that sucks. I'm doing very well, thank you, buddy. Solder, are you also streaming? I can't remember if you are. If you are, I apologise for not saying so. Moors, it's early access, you fully expect things, but yeah, having the wind kicked out of you isn't fun, so stability is appreciated, yeah. I will make that request. I'll do it in a second, actually, before I forget. Something like that. Question for you. Is your sunrise and set lines up... is your sunrise and set lines up with your game time? Because yours isn't. Oh, right. So, that's an interesting question, Caleb, because this high up north, the sun actually comes up at a different time. I think the sun rises at 3 in the morning or something weird like that. So I'm not sure if it's accurate for where we are in the world or whether it's bugged. It could very well be bugged, as could literally everything in this game at the moment. But yeah, that has been brought up as a question before, and I didn't follow it through to the end because I was doing like 100 different things at the time. Excuse me. But yeah, because we're so far north, the sunrise and the sunset are different to normal people. It rises at 8 PM, okay? That doesn't necessarily sound right. So yeah, it's probably bugged then if that's the case. I mean, it's 3:34 now, AM, and it looks like the sunrise is coming up to me. But it could very well be going down for all I know. I have to keep an eye on it, I guess. I'm not sure on that one. I'll keep my eyes open and see if I can find an answer for you. Excuse me, I've got a really dry throat. No, you're not streaming right now, but you do stream on YouTube. Okay. Solder Gaming, everybody. Another one of the tribe out there trying to do some fishing and trying to get from A to B without the game crashing and destroying its game save. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Getting a bit of a dry throat. How long have we been streaming now? 2.5 hours. Crikey. Crikey. Right, we're not far off. Oh, I can actually see one of the buildings, look. Oh no, that's not a building at all. That's a marker. Probably a good idea I don't head towards that. It's 8:44 in game for you, and it looks like sunrise in the east, yeah. I think that's what we've got. Over there somewhere. It looks okay on mine, I've got to say, but I'll keep my eyes open for it. Oh, hang on, wait a minute, I misread that. It's 8:44 in the game for you, and it looks like sunrise in the east. Ah. Is that 8:44 a.m. or 8:44 p.m.? So that's the next relevant question. Oh, it's definitely sunrise for me. So that's weird then. Why is mine working? And I've got sunrise at 3:49, which is supposedly accurate, and it's not working for you guys. That is interesting. What's different between our two games in order for that to happen? I wonder.
Yeah, sorry.
PM. Okay, so you're getting sunrise at PM as well. It's interesting. Yeah. I will steer away from the rocks and mention that to the devs, and we'll see how we get on.
I just had sunrise in my game at 1130 p.m. LOL.
Issue with time and sun position. Seems like sunrise is happening for some at 8 p.m. on some. Hello Brian, welcome to the stream. You had yours at 11:30 p.m. Okay. Okay, and some at 11:30 p.m. Oops, that's not how you spell. That's not how you spell 11:30 p.m. I think my brain's going to sleep, guys. Okay, that's that done. What was the other thing I was going to message them about? I've completely forgotten now. Oh, the beta branch. Could we please have a beta branch? Now, you are watching the rocks, guys, right? Because I'm typing, so you've got to protect us and stop us from hitting something and dying. Could we please have a beta branch now that we have something stable? Stanley, that's not what I was typing. Stable. Play.
Can you ask TMTC where he's been? Not seen him streaming
Gosh.
live. Maybe just my note.
TMTC was streaming this morning, Genocide Jim. He was, I woke up this morning and I looked at my phone and TMTC was streaming within a couple of minutes of me waking up. So I jumped in and said hi and whatnot. In fact, I was watching him right up until I started streaming, and then my phone died, so I didn't even get to say goodbye. So yeah, TMTC, I meant to say to you, apologies for that. I didn't just leave. My phone ran out of battery. I brought it in here and put it on the charger, thinking that would stop it from turning off, but it didn't. I am not sure we're going to be able to sell our fish here, chaps.
That old chestnut.
It's not quite looking like a full-on port like I was hoping. It looks like just a delivery spot. I have to be wary of my fuel as well. That old chestnut. Yeah. Yeah. If anyone's here that's just sort of suddenly joined or whatever, if you've got any questions that you want me to answer, please do ask away. Or if you've got any questions you would like me to ask the devs, feel free to pose that question, and when I get an opportunity I will ask them. I was saying to everybody earlier as well, I'm going to try and see if I can get like an interview with the developers and ask them some questions and stuff and try and get some clarity. Look at that boat. Oh, I want that boat. Look at that. That's nice. Yeah, I'm hoping that's going to be one of the options. So I can see there's a fuel point there.
Asking them when co-op will be in the game.
But nothing else, guys. There's I don't think I can sell my fish there. It doesn't look like a fishery to me. Just a fuel point. So we'll turn around and head home. Maybe we'll head up to Stureflet or whatever it's called and see if there's anything there. Not actually sure where the port is on this one. Maybe that's just the name of the island. Tipster! So, yes, I will ask them that. I can give you a bit of update on that for you, actually. Dinosaur Jim, yes, you can drop long lines at maximum speed. And also, just for clarification, because I was complaining that how unrealistic that was, having played the previous game, and knowing that you could only drop lines at 6 knots, or whatever it was. A proper real fisherman told me that dropping a line at 10 knots is absolutely fine in the real world, and that the devs don't know what the hell they're talking about. So that's about as official as I can get it for you. So yeah, you can definitely drop at 10 knots, or even faster possibly, for all I know. But as far as the game is concerned, yes, you can drop it at any speed. Tipster, sorry, yes. So co-op technically is in the game, but they found it to be so unstable that they turned it off temporarily. Now, the patch that came out yesterday, or today, sorry, this morning, has seemingly fixed all of the crashes that we were having. I haven't crashed in nearly 3 hours, and if you look back through the chat, people were stating how many hours they've been playing, like 6 hours and stuff like that. I forget exactly how long it was now, but it does seem like it's fixed it. So I will ask whether or not co-op will be back in the game. Yeah, no, I understand. Rather than multiplayer, you're on about co-op so that you can both be in the same boat, and that is in the game. That is already in the game, but they turned it off because it was so unstable. And I wonder if this constant crashing means that they can turn it back on. So I'll ask them right now, in fact. I can't guarantee you I'll get an answer before the end of the stream, but you know, this is officially me asking them. So can you turn, I've just thought of another question, can you turn on co-op now that the game is more stable? Don't let us hit anything, will you guys? If you see anything coming, type anything into chat and hit enter, just to get my attention, and then I'll make sure we don't hit it. Can you turn on co-op now that the game is more stable? Question mark. Should be. They absolutely love me over there, by the way. I am constantly bombarding them with questions and recommendations and ideas and such. I'm actually going to say, and can we turn on the waves again? Many question marks. Getting a bit bored. Smiley face. There we go. Bosh. Let's see what that does. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that actually. I saw you tell them about the horn. I backed you up, mate. I concurred with your findings. It does. It doesn't matter where your mate is in the game. If he presses the horn, it sounds like your horn is going off, which is pretty rubbish. And where the hell are we going? Is anyone paying attention to where we're going, guys? Come on. We're going to run out of fuel at this rate. Supposed to be going this way. Let me just move these. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that to me. Thank you. Move. Oh, come on. There's nothing there. There is nothing there. Don't be so sensitive. Oh, that's in the way. Okay. Oh no, I put it back to front. You absolute buffoon. Alright, that'll be fine. I know where Rost is. We won't get lost. There's only one port in the area. No problem, Tipster. You're most welcome. That's what I'm here for. I try and be sort of a go-between between you guys and the devs and whatnot as much as I can. How cool would it be if they added wheel support? Would love to hook up my gaming wheel. Brian, hello, welcome to the stream. I think I've already said hello to you actually, haven't I? Brian, the previous game, Fishing North Atlantic, eventually did have wheel support. In fact, it had very good controller support. I managed to hook up my flight sim gear, I had my throttle quadrants hooked up, everything. So it will be coming and it will work because it worked in the last one, but it is going to be probably quite a while before we get it. So, excuse me, it would be very cool, very exciting. In fact, when I first loaded this game up, I loaded it up over there on my flight sim rig and tried to do that, but it doesn't work at the moment. And it's probably not going to work for at least 3 months, probably 6, something like that. Jim, do you normally wait until the fish appear on the sonar before you drop the lines, or as soon as... Yeah, as soon as you see the fish, mate. And the fish are always moving, so try and sort of predict where they're going to be, rather than where they are now as well. But to be honest with you, I get the impression that it's not particularly well simulated at the moment, so as long as you drop it when you have some fish on the sonar, you should get a pretty decent return. Fingers crossed. It's probably a bit late, but I would also recommend just doing a cheeky little save just before you enter the fishing area that you're going to drop your lines in. Look at that. That does look good, doesn't it? I don't know if you guys have been to Norway, but it really genuinely does look just like this.
Net fishing is more involved now.
Net fishing is more involved now. Oh, that's exciting. I like the sound of that. But is it working? That's probably the most important thing. Does it actually work? The last I heard was it's quite bugged. Lots of different reports coming in about different issues and bugs and stuff like that. But I mean, that was probably getting on for a week ago, and a lot has changed. A lot has changed in the last week, so it doesn't necessarily mean anything. Look at that, gorgeous screenshot right there. PMTC1, net fishing's not working from the devs this morning. Ah,
I'm trying to see if it's user error.
you're trying to see if it's user error. Okay. Well, if the devs have announced it's not working this morning, there's a good chance it's not. But then, having said that, they also announced that fish farms were working. And TMTC1 approved unequivocally that that is not the case. And has fixed it for all of us. So, thank you, TMTC1. Bravo. Good on you. Because fish farming is something I want to try out after I've done a bit of fishing. So, thanks to you, I think that's going to be possible as of Monday, Tuesday next week. Which is great. So, thank you very much. I don't know why, but in my head I was thinking Monday or Tuesday is like a week away, but it's not, is it? It's only like 3 or 4 days away. 10-4, I'll stop slamming my head into that wall. That's a bit annoying because that's where I'm heading now. I'm hoping to get a tier 2 boat, and I was going to go do a bit of net fishing. Sounds like that's not going to be on the cards at all. Oh, hello, what's that up there? That looks like a bit of a port. What's dead ahead of me right now? Nothing. Hang on a minute. That can't be Rost, I can see. Is it? I'll be massively surprised if it is. Caleb, if you're asking me, yes, I'm in the UK. I am in the UK. Hence my my channel name. Actually, this isn't called Sim UK, is it? This is Sim UK Ultimate Realism. People have been calling me Simuk for a long time. Not quite sure why. But yeah, Sim UK is the is the name, is the proper name of Le Chanel, so to speak.
I couldn't process the fish and got stuck in a corner because you can't lift the conveyor while processing, but you can't stop processing.
Furthermore, that sounds like an absolute nightmare. And you've been trying to figure that out. Oh man. It doesn't seem like it. I couldn't process the fish and you got stuck in a corner because you can't lift the conveyor whilst processing, but you can't stop processing. TMTC1 had a similar issue this morning. He'd bought loads of fuses and replacement parts for his fish farm, no doubt trying to figure out why the fish weren't growing, and he filled up his entire inventory, and what we discovered off the back of that is you can't do anything then. You can't do any fishing or nothing. It's a total nightmare. Brian D, you're currently in the roster taking some cargo to Veyroy whilst watching the stream. Awesome, brilliant. Synchronized sailing, I love it. Brilliant stuff. Just be warned, Brian, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but if you're doing a delivery and you save, you will lose your cargo and the mission, but still remain in the same place. So make sure you get all of the delivery stuff off your boat before you save, because otherwise you're just going to lose it. Just to make you aware of that. Look how cool that is. I like it. I likey. Caleb, nice. Oh, you're in the US, also in the Navy. Oh, brilliant. So you like ship games, even though you're... Submarines? No way. Man, that's cool. I'll be honest with you, I desperately love submarines. More so sort of World War II style-y submarines. And if I'm being totally honest, it's the German submarines that, that interest me the most, which is kind of anti-patriotic, perhaps you might say, but you know, it's a respect for all those involved, let's say, in that period of time. But I'll be honest with you, you're probably more likely to get me to go to bed with a Pike than you have getting me in a submarine, because the whole concept of being that deep under the water in a boat, just in a boat with no windows, couldn't do it, mate. Not a chance. Not a chance. You only lose your cargo if you... Yeah, well, that's what I meant. So if you save the game... So say you're halfway to your destination, Caleb, with a delivery, and you save it, and you reload it, you won't have your cargo anymore. That's what I meant. Sorry if I didn't make that clear. TMTC1, heading to take the pooch out for a walk. We'll leave you on for the +1. Thank you, buddy. Have a nice walk. Have a nice walk. Hope your headache's feeling better as well, mate, by the way. Mine seems to be holding off, so I hope you're feeling a little better too. They did have beautiful U-boats, didn't they? They did have beautiful U-boats. I'm a big fan also of oh god, Destroyer, the U-boat hunter game. It doesn't seem to be very popular on Steam, but I really love it. I think it's incredible. It just reminds me of the film Greyhound so much, with Tom Hanks in it. It's like I'm in the movie. It's just fantastic. I love it so much. Caleb, the bigger SSBN boats are super roomy and they don't feel confined. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, of course you're right. Yeah, you know what you're talking about. But I think I'd still panic. I don't know about you, Caleb. You probably didn't have the same experience as me. But the first time I watched Greyhound, there was so much going on in that movie that at the end of it, I thought it was an absolute big pile of trash. And the reason why I thought that was because I just couldn't keep up with what was going on. Everything was happening so fast and they were calling things out, and they were moving on to the next boat, and then reacting to it, and then making decisions, and I was just lost. Absolutely lost. Thankfully, I was really bored one day, and it was on telly, and I put it on again, and I don't know whether my brain was more switched on or whatever, but the second time I watched it, I was just absolutely absorbed into the film. And again, I felt like I was there, and it was such a different experience. Such a good film. One of my all-time favourites now. You tried it one more time, no dice, but it does seem like it's going to be pretty fun. Oh, cool, 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 cool. So, yeah, I like that, Paladimor, thank you. A bit of positivity amongst the unfortunate realisation that it's not working properly. Who knows, come Monday/Tuesday, because a lot of people have been reaching that point and sort of feeding back to the devs about the issues, there's a good chance it might be working as of Monday, Tuesday.
That's how it was back
which will be
then.
cool.
It's nuts when we do drill so much going on and can feel overwhelming.
I can imagine, Caleb, yeah. That's how it was back then, though. It's nuts when we do drill, so much going on can feel overwhelming. And of course, back then, you know, everything was done pretty much by hand. And by, like, literally, like, old school computers, by which I mean, like the TRR system, which was basically a bunch of cogs and dials and mechanical pieces bolted together to calculate some very complex physics so that you could get like depth charges you know, accurately on your target or whatever. I mean, just so much about that time absolutely blows my mind, you know. If nothing else, I don't want to go too much into it because I could just gabble on about this forever, but I find that the merchant seamen who were delivering stuff from America to Britain or from wherever to Britain, knowing that the U-boats were trying to hunt them down and kill them, and they kept going, I think every single one of those merchant sailors deserve a medal, more than a medal, but a medal at the least. Just a phenomenal period, a totally different time. I'm in awe of those men, I really am.
I don't like this, LOL.
You just realise they've nerfed the waves. No, I've literally just asked them to turn them back on. I think. Did I ask them to turn them back on? Meant to. I'll add a please in there.
My dad's dad was a merchant seaman in the war. Would never speak about it.
See how that goes. Early access, you knew what you signed up for. You actually find the process of being on the ground level as it's being refined to be pretty exciting. Yeah, yeah. Again, yeah, you know, we've got an opportunity here to voice our opinions and make this the best game that it can be, that we want it to be, if you know what I mean. There's so much possibility. I just hope we can get through to the devs. That's just my only wish. I feel like the last two games have been overrun by arcade players and they've turned it into something really boring. I'm so I hope so much that it doesn't happen again. And I'm going to do everything I can to try and stop that from happening, but we'll see. I've lost twice, so we'll see what happens. Excuse me. Orb 505. My dad's dad, so your granddad, I assume, was a merchant seaman in the war. Would never speak about it. Gah. Massive respect to your granddad, and you know, anyone who serves in the army, the navy, what did I say? The army, the navy, or like the air force. Just huge amounts of respect for them all. Any period in time. I think I'd have been quite good in the military, personally. Not blowing my own trumpet or anything, but I have like a few health conditions that kind of block me from doing that, so to speak. So I never really got the opportunity. But yeah, it's in another life, I think I probably would have joined the forces. But yeah, wasn't to be this time round. You've Ray. Let me try this. You've Ray Verma. Hello, welcome to the stream. Did I pronounce that correctly? Apologies if I didn't. Not sure if I got the phonetics quite right there. Ah, Paladimors would probably tell me if I said your name correctly. Thomas WGA 1209 is now following. Thank you very much for the follow and welcome to the stream. I hope you're well. I hope you're enjoying the game or looking forward to the game. Can I ask a question? Is anyone out there today not own the game but is interested in owning the game? So if you're watching the stream right now, and I can see there's a few of you out there, is there anyone out there who doesn't own the game right now and would like to possibly win a copy? Oh, that's what you're here for. Ah, okay. Shall we do a little bit of a giveaway? We recommend looking up a book called Thunder Below. It followed a ship called USS Barb, captained by the Eugene Flucky. It's also an Audible and such a... Oh, Thunder Below. Orb 505, you're watching to decide whether or not to buy. Okay. Let me just write this book down. One second. And we'll do a bit of a giveaway. I'm going to have to do this now, otherwise I'll completely forget to do it. I am terrible for that. Just hit the 3-hour mark, guys. This is a long stream for me. It's a good one, though. I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are all right out there. I'm not boring you too much. See if I've got the name already. Thunder Below. Thunder Below. Oh, great. Something went wrong. I love technology. What went wrong? Try again, you stupid phone. There it is. Works fine. What's the problem? Oh, that's interesting.
I'd say if you're interested, I'd say right now while it's on sale is a good time to pick it up.
Well, apparently I get it free with my Audible account, so thank you very much. I'll have a good listen to that tonight. Lovely stuff. Thank you very much, guys. Right, okay, so how are we going to do this? If you're interested, this is a terrible way of doing it. I'm sorry. Oh, hang on. What's this? What is that? Is that just a marker? Oh yeah, it's just a marker. So if you're interested in winning a key, this is a bit of a crappy way of doing it. I apologise, but it's the best thing I can come up with at such short notice. If you're interested in winning a key for Ships at Sea on Steam right now, then what you need to do is you need to type your best nautical related joke into the chat, and then whoever's here will vote on what we think the best joke is. So take your time. I'll give you 6 minutes. That gives you a chance to go and find a joke if you haven't got one. And then yeah, 1:15 I'll call the winner. I think that seems pretty fair. Gives you a bit of a chance. So you've got about 6 minutes starting now to come up with a nautical based joke. That could be fishing, can be sea related, can be fish related, I don't know, anything like that. As long as it's got a nautical theme, then I'll judge it as reasonable. Let's try and go in the right direction, shall we? That'd be a good start. And then we'll vote on it, and whichever one is funniest, we'll we'll vote you the winner, and you'll get a key. I'll send you a key, and we'll do it on a first come first serve. So if two people come up with the same joke, whoever says it first, that's theirs. So you have to think of another one. How's that? Is that a good idea? It's a terrible idea. I know it's a terrible idea, but it's the best thing I could come up with, having only had a few hours sleep and a terrible headache for the last 2 weeks. Yes, also true. Caleb just bought the copy for your buddy today. Oh, that's cool of you. Nice one. And if you're interested right now, whilst it's on sale, it's a good time to buy. Pick it up. It locks in your price and keeps the lights on. Yes. Make sure it's your kind of game first. Absolutely. It's an absolutely awful idea. I quite agree with you. 9 knots is slow. You do need upgrades, yeah. At the moment, I think it's £20 on Steam, so I think that equates to $20, €20, depending on where you are. Thereabouts. Full price is 25. So you're getting a pretty good discount now. And if this game evolves as much as I think it could, I think 2 years from now, it's going to be probably more like £30, £35. I could be wrong. They may just keep it at 25. But I feel like if and when they get everything in the game that they want to get in the game, yeah, they could definitely, arguably, charge more for it. If they do it well. I mean, if they do it badly, then this is all null and void. But, yeah, it's £20 on Steam right now. Pretty sure. In fact, I can check. It'd be better if I'm accurate, because then you'll know for sure.
Doesn't seem like much, but it's a huge difference.
It is a huge difference. It really is, yeah. Yeah, I can tell I'm running out of brain juice because I can't remember how to use my phone properly. Right, here we go. Store.
Does the engine upgrade increase speed or just propeller?
Let's see. Yes, we did a test yesterday. £18 and 89 pence. Better than I thought, actually. Less than £20. £18 and 89 pence. I assume that translates to sort of $19 or €19. But I'm not entirely sure how I would check that, to be honest with you. But it's going to be around about that price, if not exactly that price.
Engine's the biggest factor, the propeller.
Yeah, I'm not sure which gives you the most actually, and I don't know if it's different on each boat. But the propeller will almost double your speed, and it's cheaper than the engine. So that's probably, you know, if you're short on cash, that's probably the one to go for, I would say. But in a perfect world, you'll want both. You'll want the engine and you'll want the prop as well. And eventually you'll want the fuel tank too, so that you can get to the further away places. Are we actually going to make it to Rost? Yeah, we are. We've got loads of fuel. I'm glad they fixed the fuel. That was quite hard.
Engines seem to be powerful rough.
You're running out to set a long line to get some money. Good luck. Good luck, good luck. Maru, yes. That was my... in fact, when I tried the engine last week, I thought that was all it was doing. I thought I was doing the same speed, but I didn't have to adjust my direction quite so much. It felt like it was cutting through the sea a bit easier. So I think you're probably right there. But they've turned the bloody waves off anyway, so it's not really much of a factor anymore. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that is a thing. No jokes. What's going on? We got a minute left. Not one joke. I'm gonna have to either think of a better way of deciding the winner, or not give a key away, which is a horrible thought. Wow, we are really close to something over there. Jesus, didn't even see them. I need to pay more attention. There's another one in front of me, look. Oh god, wrong button. One right here, we're just going over it now apparently. I can't see it. Thankfully we don't have a very deep draft, so not going to affect us too badly. We're nearly there, guys. We're nearly at Rost.
At least the refuel point is just up the river. Wonder how the refueling process via player ship is going to function later.
You wish you could refuel in Rost. You can refuel in Rost. There's 2 refuel points in Rost. So in Rost, there's one here, which is right. This isn't where we normally start. Over here, I think. So there's one right down the end, which is an absolute pain in the ass. And there used to be one here, which doesn't appear to be showing up anymore. Have they got rid of it? They may have got rid of one. Cheeky sods. Chase the Fox, hello.
Do you have any videos or advice on graphics settings?
I don't know, Chase the Fox. I'll have to find out on that one. It's possibly something that's coming later along with console support. I'm not entirely sure. Do I have any videos or advice on graphic settings? Still working on finding the best settings. Brian, to be honest with you, it's changing so quickly that anything I tell you today will be outdated already, to be quite honest with you. Any advice I give you today will be advice that I used last week, and it won't be relevant today, and it probably won't be relevant again next week either. But if you're struggling, I kind of put everything on medium, and that sort of works for me. I think I'm running on medium right now, whilst streaming at 60 FPS 2K, and I'm going to be like 45 FPS. It's normally 60. It's a bit low today. I don't know why. I've probably got something running in the background that I've forgotten about. Yeah, Chase the Fox, I will, in fact I'll ask, and I may be able to get you an answer straight away, but don't quote me on that. Strangely enough, the devs are not at my beck and call. Any support planned for Mac users?
Okay.
There you go. Question asked. If they come back to me, I will tell you. Let's just avoid that little marker before we smash into it. We're almost in Rost, which is very cool.
I pushed the auto set for graphics and it dropped everything to lowest LOL.
Caleb, one thing, I tried to use the auto set graphics myself, and I found it didn't give me the best results. If I can give you one tip that's sort of almost relevant, the foliage was giving, I think the foliage was causing some graphical issues before, so maybe play around with that and see if you get any benefits from it. But I also found last week, at least, that if I use that auto set graphics thing, it wasn't very good. It wasn't as good as I could do it if I did it myself. And I found medium graphic settings and turning off all upscaling for me on my system works best. That gave me a solid 60 FPS at 4K when I tested it. Although I have tested it again since then and it didn't work, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to have to sort of play around with it a bit, really. Pushed it back to high and everything's running at 75 FPS. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it in the top left-hand corner. I think you can. So I'm averaging about 46 FPS, which is quite low, actually. I'm not sure why it's running. It's running a bit sluggish today. My average time to render is also twice what it normally is, so I don't know why. Maybe I need to retweak my graphic settings. Luro P, thank you for the sub. Scared the living daylights out of me. I've got to say, that made me jump. But thank you for the follow, the sub. Much appreciated. So no jokes. Okay, nobody wanted to win a key. That's crazy. To be fair, I didn't think about doing a giveaway today, so I wasn't really prepared for it. And I'm going the wrong way, aren't I? I'm gonna go that way. So I'll do better next time. I'll be prepared for the next one. We play a little game. Shall we make predictions on how much money we're going to make off these fish? I'll show you how many we've got. That's how many fish we have in the hold. Quite a lot. A lot of cod. I think that's 13,500 medium-sized cod and nearly 1,000 large cod. Wow, we are going to make so much money here. Put your predictions in chat. I won't participate. I know how much I think we're going to make. But I won't say, so I don't want to influence you. 1.5 million? 3 million! Okay. Well, hope you're right. That would be fantastic. I feel like my prediction now is maybe a bit too low. But yeah, 1.5 million would do. I'd be happy with that. 3 million, I'd be flipping ecstatic. Genocide Jim. Ah, that's what I was going to say. 7.5. I was going to say 7.5. Just going to do a cheeky save, because you never know. You never quite know what's coming around the corner. Let's take it at $10. Well, there's a chance you could be right, Brian. About 350. Yeah, let's see. I think it'd be more than that. I'm pretty sure we're going to exceed 500,000. Pretty confident. I know that a large cod, or I think I remember, that a large cod can earn you about 1,000. And we've got, how many did I say we've got? We've got 1,000. Wow, yeah, okay. We could be earning some serious dollar here today. Here we go. Cruising into the port. I was going to say nice and easy, like, no crashing, and then I realised I'd lost control of the boat and we were going to hit the side. Oh my god, I'm going to smack into that as well. And that's how it's done. So I'm going to chop that up into little bits and use that as a tutorial for how to dock your boat without smashing into everything. God, that was awful, wasn't it? That was really bad. I'm going to blame that on the whiskey. Right. Let's do it. Let's go to the fishery. Let's see what we've got. What the hell's that thing up there? Oh, it's just for Rost. Okay. Thought they'd added a new building for a second. Right.
I actually don't know how many times you dropped your line. I wasn't here at first. But it's going to be substantial.
You think it's going to be substantial? I think I did 2 before I started, and then another 3 or 4 today. So, yeah, could be a lot. Could be a lot. Let's. Oh, there you go. 1,980,238 and 79, whatever those things are in Norwegian money. So a little bit more than I was expecting, but not quite the 3 million that Caleb was hoping for. It's a bit disappointing, really. I was very much looking forward to 3 million. But that's not bad. 1.1 million for a single fish. Not bad at all. That's not an official amount, is it? Because was sort of under the impression that the we'll get my sentence out in a minute. What is it we're under the impression of? The hold is not actively working, so we're not limited to how many fish we can hold.
Yeah, I cheated a little. I did the same thing yesterday.
Conversion rate $4.59.
That's £4 59.
As much as that.
Well,
You were very close, Paladimore, yeah. Cheated a little. You did the same thing yesterday. That'll do. I mean, that helps us, doesn't it? I don't think it's enough to get the next boat, though. So I may have to go do a fish after this. Right, so did we figure it out? Did we, we tried, didn't we? Or somebody tried to do a delivery in this boat. Let's just have a look at the stats. Right, so a tier 1 fishing boat used for longline fishing. It's a solid boat in perfect shape, easy to operate, and ensures a seamless fishing experience. Unless the game crashes.
Fish out of season.
55 centimetre draft. Bloody hell. Is that all? It's mental. No fines for fish out of season either. Ah. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Gross tonnage is 900 kilograms.
It is.
Up to 13 knots. Engine power. Blah, blah, blah.
And yeah, you can
Cargo type. Extra small. Yes, it does say cargo type extra small. Cargo capacity 1500 kilograms. Maybe that's a factor. 1500 kilograms. Let's take that off. Oh, it removes the buckets as well. Interesting. Okay. Right, so theoretically, we should be able to do a small delivery with it. Let's find out. As long as it's under 15... Ah, no, see, it's all greyed out, isn't it? Active boat has no cargo area, but it does. It doesn't say how heavy it is. So, yeah. I'm wondering if perhaps in here there's meant to be...
4,500 kilograms.
I'm wondering if there's meant to be a cargo option here. Or perhaps it kind of looks like it's meant to default back to cargo when you take that off, but it doesn't seem to be working. The roster holds like 4,500. Good lord, okay. Conquest is 1.45 million. And you can rig it for light cargo. Oh, that's a point, yeah. Is that the next fishing boat, is it? It is, isn't it? Yeah, you're right. This little beauty here. Oh, 1.45! Oh, we're so close! We're so close, but not quite there. Okay. Well, I think we'll probably wrap up there, guys. That's a 3.5 hour stream. That's quite a long one for me. I don't normally do them that long. But it's been fun. You guys have made it most entertaining. So thank you so much for coming in and chatting and keeping me entertained. You've been brilliant and you've been informative and you've been giving great ideas, which I've passed on to the devs. And that, for me, is what a simulation community is all about. So thank you very much indeed. I really appreciate it. If there's anything I said I was going to do that I've forgotten to do, please tell me now, because my brain has literally turned into mashed potato. I don't want to not have done anything by accident.
Thank you for streaming. It was fun. Seriously.
Oh, take a loan, Brian. Take a loan, says Brian. I think I can only get 150,000, but I'll have a look actually before we go. It has been a pleasure, Genocide Jim. Thank you so much. Paladimores, thank you for streaming. It has been great. Orb 505. Orb 505, have we convinced you to invest in the game, do you think? Have we changed your opinion, or are you still on the fence there? Caleb, you're interested to hear my opinion on the book. I will share that with you next time round. You think so? You think so? Okay, well, I'm going to be streaming again. TMTC1 streams pretty much every day as well. And he's doing totally different stuff to me, which is really cool. So if you want to see some other features in the game, go check him out. He's on Twitch, he's on YouTube. Really easy to find. There's quite a few of us out there doing lots of hard work. So yeah, just have a look about. There's lots of content around. Let's very quickly, last thing I'll do, let's go see if I can borrow enough money. Oh my god, what's happened to my frames there? It's just dropped down to 20 all of a sudden. Yeah, that was horrible. Let's go see if I can get enough of a loan. How much are they going to loan me? Oh. Well, that either means I can take a 3... Oh, I've got 3 loans already. I so completely forgot that I'd done that.
You can take 3 loans.
Yeah, I've got them. Got them all. Shall I repay these? I'm going to repay them. What does that leave us with? Damn it. I was going to say maybe I can take the 300,000. But that's still going to leave us short. I'm going to have to go out and fish again. What I'll do, guys, is I'll go do an offline fish. I'll do an offline fish, and next time I see you in a live stream, we'll have enough for the next boat, which will probably be around about Tuesday. So hopefully they'll have fixed the net fishing, and we can progress with our fishing career, so to speak. So yes, brilliant. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Please do enjoy your fishing experiences, and take good care of yourselves. And until next time, take care. Goodbye for now.